Welcome to the Joe Rogan Experience. If you're enjoying the show, please be sure to leave a like, comment, and subscribe. You can follow us on Instagram at JREE Podcast. You can send us an email at jreepodcast@gmail.com. And if you feel like supporting the show, you can do so at patreon.com/JREE Podcast. Thank you so much for listening and enjoy the show.
Let's get started.
Here we go. Now let's get it all in perspective. We did it like that, and now we do it like this.
Do not attempt to adjust your dial. I'm transmitting live. Yo,
Let's get down to business.
Now let's get it all in perspective. We did it like that, and now we do it like this.
All right.
for the underground world, every street and borough.
You may learn something.
Experience.
You are now listening to the Joe Rogan Experience with Chico, Simon, Kamar, and your host, Matt Floyd.
Wow, welcome back.
I'm working here, Simon. What the fuck are you doing?
I'm sorry, man.
Oh, it's okay. It's the heat.
You were so professional that it threw me off.
Welcome to the Joe Rogan Experience. My name is Matt Floyd, joined as always by Kamar
Good day, sir.
and Simon.
How is everybody doing out there?
I actually kind of wanted you to come in like Roberto Montalban there. Like you look very...
I sort of thought I was doing some Rico Suave shit.
Okay.
To all the young ladies.
Whoa, careful. Careful. Too soon. For
Cut it out.
for those of you joining us
No,
for the...
cut that out.
Yeah, no, literally. Please edit that out. For those of you joining us for the first time, what we do here is very simple. The three of us have listened to every episode of the Joe Rogan Experience this week.
Or almost.
Well, if you're Kamar, we're going to rate each episode as well as the week on a scale of 1 to 5 Jamie Vernons. And then we're going to talk about each guest, the talking points, this, that, and the next. Kamar, how was your week?
Oh, I had a good week. Painting a lot of houses outside. It's very hot. As I discussed with you guys on the throwback recording, I'm getting fucked by my lawyer. So if there's any barristers in the Ottawa area that are listening and they're not contributing on the Patreon, but would like to help the podcast, please reach out as soon as possible.
So you're looking for pro bono barristers,
I'm
basically.
just looking for some fucking real advice that doesn't cost $1,000 an hour. And I got up the lake and jumped in it, and that was really nice.
That's fun.
First time this season.
Simon, how's your week? Happy Father's Day, Simon.
Oh, happy Father's Day to all the fathers.
But to Simon specifically,
But not
who is
to-
a father in the room.
Kamar wants to leave this one out, too.
Simon especially.
Thank you. Yes, proud father of 4, hopefully, females. My plants.
Oh, yes,
Yeah,
gotcha.
yeah. And
I forgot.
and my 2 children.
Yeah, well, I was like, you have 2 actual
Yeah,
females.
2.
Who are the other
No,
2
no,
you're talking about?
2.
Oh, sorry.
A male,
sorry.
a male and
Chef
a
is not a female, by
a
the way.
male and a female, but my plants are looking so good, man. I go out there every morning. I'm growing 4 plants in the backyard
Are
just for
they
kicks.
visible to anyone?
They are visible to everyone.
So you're not, is there any security measures you've taken?
You don't need security measures until they fucking flower. And by
Like-
that point, you can bring them in at night.
Do you mean from kids?
Yeah, neighbors, whatever.
You know what, man? Like, I'm not counting on this for any. I just want to watch it grow. If it gets stolen, I don't really care.
You're enjoying
Like,
the process.
Yeah. It's just I think it's fun. They really grow fast, so you're really watching.
They
things
grow up
happen,
so
you know?
fast.
Just thinking that, yeah. Sounds like a father on Father's Day.
Didn't mention his children at all. He's just talking about his plants.
my week. So I had done pretty well during the pandemic to keep my spirits up. I had found anyways. I mean, maybe other people around me didn't think so much, but just in general, spirits good. The last couple of weeks, I have just been so angry, like watching the news, just everything has been like putting me over the top. I've been watching way too much news. So I decided I would, every time I was going to watch something that was going to enrage me, I instead watched something about aliens.
Happy place.
So I'm back. I got a lot of theories, and in the whole time we've ever done this podcast, I've never taken so many notes.
Hold on. So you're just going to squeeze aliens in wherever you think
No,
you
no.
can? Or?
Well,
No.
that, which I heard, they did talk about it in the Kyle Dunnigan one.
They talked about a couple of things, but no, I just mean in general this week.
Oh,
I thought
okay.
this week was amazing. It was a really good
Yeah, I think it was a really good week.
We'll get there. We'll get there. We'll
yeah,
get there. We'll get
But
there.
no, this whole book is this week.
Wow. Okay. Well,
Buckle up.
Everyone buckle up for a 5-hour marathon. Let's also get this out of the way.
Definitely some aliens.
Let's get this out of the way right now because if you're not on the Patreon, so we used to record in my basement, my air-conditioned basement. And then we moved to the studio, which has no air conditioning. And in Ottawa today, it was 105 degrees Fahrenheit with the Humidex. And it's probably 120 degrees Fahrenheit in the studio.
It is very hot. In all fairness, now we do have air conditioning. So
Well, we can't.
And I'm not helping the situation.
Yeah, and we can't run it during the podcast because it's too loud. And the lights for the YouTube, it's unbearably warm right now. So bear with us. And Simon just told us this is going to be a 5-hour podcast, so buckle up. Anyway, I guess that's it. Do you want to run down the guests?
how was your week, Matt?
Oh, who gives a shit?
Oh,
Let's
we
run
do.
down the guests.
For Father's Day, Matt gave his week time to me. Thank you very much, Matt.
There you go.
Appreciate it.
Just, keep on giving, Simon.
Yeah, it never stops.
Keep your nose in the books. Yeah, okay. We had a great week this week. Light, I'd say sort of light on the laughs, heavy on the content. We started out 1492, Jocko Willink. Then we had 1493. This was a real nice one. Nice surprise. Steve Sherpa and Michael Imperioli. Then we had 1494, Brett Weinstein.
I'm not going to lie. It just dawned on me. I have a half hour left in that Sopranos episode.
There you go. And
bad.
finish off the week. He's been talked about a lot. Finally on the show, 1495, Kyle Dunnigan.
Weinstein.
What'd I say?
Steen.
Yeah. Kyle Dunnigan's been on the
Apologies.
show.
Yeah, twice,
Kamar.
I think.
Well, that fucks up my intro up.
We've rated one of his episodes.
Yeah, no, he was on last year,
Yeah.
Unremarkable.
Okay.
but
What's your opinion?
it was good.
All right. Well, where should we start here?
Well, we should start at...
No, we start by rating the week.
Oh, yeah, right.
I can't see my whiteboard because
Because of the
box.
box. Air
9,000
conditioner.
BTUs.
All I can see is the 9,000 BTUs that isn't getting blown on me right now.
Noma, baby. All right. I don't know what the number was because I've just given up on writing them in my book.
So you just are at a loss for words and want me to go?
No, you
do you have the numbers?
the numbers because you just said them.
Oh,
Yeah. And then I'll say Jocko Willink and we'll start.
It's Willink. Willick. Willink.
Hold on.
1492.
He said Will. What did you say?
Willick.
No,
Willink.
you said Willnick, so I just figured that was wrong.
It's Willink.
It's spelt Willink.
Willink.
Yeah.
What did I say? Willick?
I'll call him whatever he wants me to call him.
Willink. Okay. So, a couple of things in this episode. Are you okay, Kamar?
I thought we rated the week at the beginning.
Oh, yeah, we haven't done that yet. Sorry. Well, then we're definitely not going to talk about Jocko Willink.
Well, that's why I was when you guys asked me what the number was. What does it matter what the number was? You're not going to read the week.
Okay, Kamar, rate the week, please. It's so hot in here, we've gone delirious.
I give the week 3.5.
Oh, man.
3.5 Jamie Vernon's.
Simon?
I'm going to give the week a 4.
I matched that. I also give the week a 4.
Oh, the odd man out.
I thought it was a good, really strong week. And I wasn't even looking forward to half of these. So there you go. Like Jocko, I was just fucking...
I was not looking forward to Jocko.
I was like, this is not how I want to start my week at all.
And a quarter of the way through the podcast, these exact words went through my head. Is that stupid idiot Kamar right? Should this guy be vice president?
Wow, I thought he was coming on to announce his fucking run. Pardon me for swearing, Shannon.
You're excusing you to your
Did
sister?
your fucking
It's actually
sister get
Jay.
angry at us for swearing?
She doesn't mind. She's an adult, but her son
Shannon, I only said fucking there to
Doesn't
prove a
appreciate
point.
this.
I
Hold
don't,
on. Shannon, your son should definitely not be listening to this show.
Well, I wanted to put on the parental warning, but you won't do that.
What? We're not making a parental
I thought it
warning.
would look cool, like banned in the USA.
Okay.
But don't listen to Matt. He should definitely listen to this podcast. He can learn something about aliens.
It's my legacy.
All right. Well, whatever.
Now
I guess
we can
we'll
get
get to
into
it. Jocko.
Jocko, yeah. So, couple of things happened this week in the world. I think they talked about it in this episode, but if they didn't, just sorry. Uncle Ben's, Aunt Jemima, and what was the third one?
Paw Patrol.
No, Paw Patrol. That was a troll, which is funny that it was Paw Patrol.
Paw
But
Patrol.
that didn't really happen. Mrs. Butterworth, Uncle Ben's, and Aunt Jemima all got pulled off, which, great. You know what I mean? Right or wrong, I'm all for that. What I'm saying is there is no excuse now for the Indians, the
Washington
Braves.
Redskins?
Yeah, like if we now know that we can change.
Was there ever an excuse?
Well, but their excuse was always, we can't fuck with history. This is a part of history. You know what I'm saying? Now they're going to have to get rid of that shit. They can't, like, am I wrong?
There's only so many that can fall, and I mean, they probably should. I'm not defending anything. The people are saying, why do you have to change Aunt Jemima, whatever? Like, it just
They were talking about the Magic, the card game.
Well,
It's one card. It's not the whole game, by the way.
that's what I want to say right off the bat. I could just imagine someone who loves to every week get together, play Magic, and listen to Joe Rogan, and then just get shit on in the first second. Like,
It happens to us all the time.
Something tells me that Venn diagram might not be as big as you think, but whatever.
Magic and Joe Rogan don't always meet.
Yeah.
But it happens to us all the time with bowling.
What do you mean?
Joe shitting on something we love.
Oh yeah, I don't give a fuck.
That's
To
what I'm
each
saying.
their own, man.
Magic kids won't care.
Well, I saved that up for the whole week, and now it's fucking ruined.
Sorry, Kumar. I didn't mean
God,
to
I'm
step on
swearing
your
like a
toes
sailor.
there.
Pardon my French.
Really, really worried your nephew's listening.
What I want to say is, obviously, the week before was a lot of rhetoric around defunding the police, abolish police, and Joe's not having it, and sort of had on Jocko right away to discuss why police are important and why this is a few bad apples or whatever cliche you want to say, and not a full thing that we have to get rid of police, which I think none of us like police, but we think we should have police.
Yeah, but I also think you can have less police, and the whole system can work. Like
But
the idea
put
of
the money in the area so the police don't have to go there anymore, so you need less police.
Sure, there's that. There's 100, so I think I was talking about a while ago. Portland instigated something where, 80% of 911 calls now, instead of sending the police, they send mental health care workers, and it stopped arrests and it stopped. It's turned the crime around in that area.
Joe and Jocko mentioned it. They were saying, like, for crimes like, I don't know, drunk and disorderly or whatever, right? Like Matt's saying, the police that shouldn't be in their purview. It should be a whole different crew. I don't know if it can just be healthcare workers because they're still.
Why are we sending dudes with batons and guns to go break up drunk people? They're just gonna fucking crack skulls, and it's not.
Agreed.
Well, what's close to home is the incident that happened here was a perfect example where a guy was at a coffee shop acting erratically when they should have sent a mental health professional, but instead they sent the police, and now he's dead.
Even then, you can send both. There's no reason you can't send both. You send a cop for safety, fine. They have a gun, they have all the tools, or they should have all the tools. But you send the mental health care worker as a first line of defense.
Exactly.
Sure,
Not the go-to the police.
But that's money. That's paying an extra person, and so all the more
it's
reason
not-
why you
hold on.
can't defund the police.
Nobody.
You know what I
Hold
mean?
on. Okay, fine. You can defund. First of all, if you look at the funding, it all goes into more tear gas, more gear, more fucking tanks. They don't need that shit. Like, they were talking about training them, and then they were like, Joe kept talking about, well, give them more money. They don't need more money. Take the money that's allocated to them now and put that to
if
training.
You're planning on training them for that long, I think you will. Again, I don't think you're talking about giving them more money. You're talking about leaving the money as it is and allocating that money properly.
Yeah, fine.
So that's not defunding.
Well, it's
the
a happy
police.
medium at least.
That's just reforming the police force, and I'm all for that. You know what I mean?
Well, no, but I think start from the bottom. Don't reform it. Like, just get rid of the whole thing and start fresh.
Yeah, I don't think it works that way. But okay, I mean, I'm just an idiot.
But the attitude of I don't think it works that way has gotten us where we are, because then we never try anything new and we end up with the status quo all the time.
I don't think they've tried to do a massive reform on the police force because I don't think anybody ever gave a shit before, meaning the police, to reform themselves. And maybe this is the precipice to do that. But there are good cops on the force. Like, it's crazy to say they're not.
Sure, but who gives a fuck if there's good cops in the force? I don't really give a shit right now. That's all I'm saying.
Okay. I mean, that's your opinion. I to throw all the baby with the bathwater, just, I don't know if that's the right answer.
Might even cost more.
Why? So if you find out that one of those cops that stood there and watched that guy kill George Floyd, if you find out that one of them was a good cop, does that, like, everything's cool there.
Well, no, he's obviously not a good cop because he stood there and watched George Floyd.
But why?
get
Maybe,
killed.
but Simon, maybe up to that point, maybe he was a great cop, and maybe as a great cop, he just did what he was told, which is stand down, and we're doing everything we can here. I'm just saying that's what a good cop
Well, the
does.
wildest position is the guy's been there for 4 days. You know, when you're the new guy on the job, you don't want to step on any toes or whatever. Like, that was just a shitty position to be in on that call.
You are sweating so much.
I believe the word is
It's
profusely.
900 degrees in here. Yeah, what do you want from this guy? Like,
9,000 BTUs.
if you could see what's under my shirt right now, I'm fucking dying.
I'm hot as. But anyways, the one guy, 4 days on the job, that's just bad luck of cards. But I think Jocko said police train 4 hours a year or something.
Whatever it is, it goes back to what I said last week that it should be like a 3-year training
We're all in
program.
agreement on that, yeah.
Even then, like I said, they don't need more tanks. They don't need more fucking tear gas and shit. They don't need that. So whatever they're spending on that, reallocate it.
Yes, totally agreed. We're in 100% agreement
Yep.
there. Reallocate that.
Okay,
and-
but at the end of this, Joe said, give them more money. So
yeah, I mean, I don't agree with that.
how could you?
Well,
It's
It's like
fucking
giving
insane.
the military more money.
Now that we know that money just can come from forever, from ever.
Is that hitting you now?
Yeah, it feels great. Thank you.
I feel bad for the little guy. He's got to be fucking roasting.
Probably why he wants to go to the door. Listen, at the end of every episode, we'll just
Yeah.
click out of here.
I'm not worried.
So they were talking about cancel culture being at 100%.
Which we initially thought at the beginning of the pandemic it was gone.
Well, they were even saying it.
We're
Like
having
Joe-
parties, slapping ourselves on the back
I think those words came out of Joe's mouth.
because there's bigger problems in the world, cancel culture, and what a week it was for cancel culture.
Oh, you guys want to talk about Dalia?
Oh no, we'll save it for the post show because
Okay.
it was Dalia, and then the next day it was actual Joe based on the Weinstein episode. Really? Yeah.
Yeah, now I don't know what you're talking about.
Oh, good. I'll save it for the post show. We'll talk about the Weinstein.
Okay.
Fine. That's a happy medium. Sorry.
I mean, Jocko's main point is there's a lack of leadership right now, and it's causing problems.
Yeah, I mean, but Jocko's for the police. There's no doubt about that. He's
As are we.
Listen, think about it like this. If you were an incredible leader, there's a good chance that a company would have offered you tons and tons of money to come and lead their multi-million-dollar, billion-dollar, trillion-dollar conglomerate. That's how that works. The best go where the money is. So what the fuck makes you believe that anyone other than a narcissistic maniac is going to become president? You know what I mean? Like you would, if you're a great leader, you're not going to take $100,000 a year. You're just going to be like, no, I'd rather go to whatever
Yeah,
company,
but
Greenpeace. Who the fuck cares? Anywhere.
Politicians are supposed to be doing it because they want to just make change. They're not about money. They're about campus society.
Yeah. Do you believe that?
Nope.
Okay. So then we're back to square one then.
how did we get here? Sorry.
Leadership.
We were talking
Lack
about
of.
leadership and lack thereof. And I was
We
saying,
can't afford good leaders.
Gotcha. Sorry.
yeah, I mean, again, like what we're talking about, like, I don't know. You want good leaders in the police force. Well, there's a police force in every fucking city, every town. There's 600 layers of policing in the U.S. So I don't know where they're going to, I mean, again, we already know that they can just print money. So
I forget where I was listening. The budget for the New York police is $7 billion.
the NYPD.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So did you hear now that the NYPD has been sending out like messages to their police force saying everybody call in sick on the 4th of July and let them see what it's like to have no police. That's going to be their answer apparently. But there's some clause in the, just like the doctors can do no, or they have to help some, you know, that whole
The Hippocratic
thing, the
Oath.
Hippocratic Oath. I believe that there's some thing like that for the cops, but I was listening to somebody today talking about it and they were saying, but what do you think the chances of a cop arresting another cop are? It's 0. You would have to call in the military. And then at that point, like,
Not a way to make friends.
holy fuck, you know?
Either way, is this really the way cops want to act? Well, if you guys are going to be dicks, we're just going to take our ball and go home.
No,
That's,
it's stupid.
It's how human
obviously,
beings act,
yeah.
though.
Well, that's just it. They're
doesn't matter. You sign. Listen,
well, they're held to a higher thing. That's they signed up for that. You know what I mean?
They swear an oath.
You are going to be held to a higher principle because you're the example, or you should be.
CBC was talking about how they used to get paid the same as teachers and nurses. Now they get paid a lot more.
That's in Canada. I don't know what it's like
Yeah,
in
well,
the States.
I'm sure all wages are lower in the States.
But yeah, Jocko was saying that he believes that they should be training at least 1/5 of the time. No. Yes? Is that what he said?
20%.
Yeah, 20% of the time. Which, at least.
I said they should work, if they work 5 days a week, they should work 4 days and train 1 day.
Right. Or why don't you just do it like the firemen where they're off half of the time, right? They usually work like a week and then they're off a week. And in that off week, they're at the precinct anyways. You're running your programs.
I just think firemen have a lot more spare time on their hands to train. It's justified because...
Well, maybe there just needs to be more cops then. But again, that's not the answer, right?
I don't think that's the answer.
No, I agree. But why are firemen not as busy?
Because they don't do ticketing, like traffic.
Well, put that into the hands of the Green Hornets.
They do go
then,
to accidents and stuff, speeding tickets, highway safety, all that. I mean, I guess they do go to accidents, but...
And is it now going to be hard to get people to want to be cops?
Apparently not. I mean, again, I'm just not from Ottawa, but they have the most applications they've had.
Yeah, I don't know if it's fair to compare Ottawa. I think we got to talk about like...
Well, those are the numbers that I'm somewhat heard of because they talk about on the news.
Why? If you're some psychopath, you've probably been watching Instagram or any other fucking social media, and you're like, oh man, right now cops are going crazier than ever. This is a great time to join.
I don't mean the psychopaths, though. I mean, like, are they going to be able to recruit good people now? Because anybody who signs up is going to be like, holy shit, even if I'm a good cop, I'm going to be thrown in with these bad cops.
They will say that they want to do it, but I don't know the type of person that wants to be going into a profession where you're right now being vilified. Unless they're altruistic and just want to make the world a better place.
Well, I guess it's that same argument for the president, right?
And the other thing is, I was talking to my stepfather. He was saying he's heard that unemployment in the States could go to 30%. So,
well, that's not good.
Any job. So if they're hiring, I'm sure they'll get the people. Whether they'll get the best people, I don't know.
Well, no, and you're trying to weed out the... So if they're going to need people to fill the jobs and they're not going to do the proper training, then the worst people are going to get in.
We're right back where we started.
No, it's going to get worse.
You don't know that. There's an argument that could go the other way.
Meaning what?
Well, meaning that a lot of good people lost their jobs. It's not necessarily that terrible people all lost their jobs. If it's 30% unemployment, that people that were good at something somewhere down the line lost their jobs and they might become a cop. And maybe they're a good person.
Yeah, no, I'm
just saying. What I'm saying is maybe maybe we were stuck in a position where no one wanted to be a cop 6 months ago before all this bullshit. That's why we were only getting shit people. And maybe now, because it's one of the only jobs, or will be one of the only jobs, maybe good people will actually be like, fuck, I have to take this job. And then maybe while they're there, they'll see someone with a fucking knee on a neck and be like, hey,
push them off.
That's not what we're here for. Yeah.
I just think that,
here's the problem that Joe never mentions. Joe always talks about this. He always talks about, if every good cop interaction was recorded, it'd be insane. They'd be a staggering number. Like, fine. Okay, great, Joe. That's fine and good. But we do have a lot of shitty interactions recorded. And the problem is out of any time I've ever seen a cop being recorded, I've never once in my fucking life seen another cop step in and be like, this is too much. This is too far. Ever. I've never once seen that, ever.
It's like sort of like the equivalent to cock blocking your buddy.
Yeah.
To question another cop.
Well, you're certainly never going to do that if the guy has more years than you. You know what I mean? You can't. You could, but in any of these kind of fraternity-done occupations, that's going to get you totally ostracized in your clubhouse, Well,
if you punch a cop, all the cops in the vicinity punch you.
Of course, which is insane.
When a cop gets killed, all the rules go out the window to find that killer. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Or it does in the movies, anyways.
No, man. Chappelle in that 827 talked about that dude that killed a cop or killed a couple cops, and then they hunted him down, and like, what was it, like 100+ cops showed up when they found this guy in the woods, and they pretty much all unloaded on the guy. And he was like, "Don't get it twisted. This is a fucking gang." And when the call goes out,
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
yeah,
All the rules go out the window. Like they
course.
stop following the protocols that.
But when you join in there and you think everyone hates you, you want to have this brotherhood you're in. I mean, I see both sides.
I totally can see both sides. I don't know, man. I don't know. You're for sure going to have to do massive overhauls in these police forces, but you cannot remove the police. And then if some states do remove the police, now I'm talking about not in our country now, but if some states do remove the police, then are the criminals going to go to those states because they know that there's no enforcement?
That's what these guys
of the law?
suggested.
Did they suggest that? I thought I heard that on a different podcast. But yeah, okay, well then, great. So is that going to happen?
I don't know. Through all this, all I feel is, and this may be unpopular in a way, but I think the states just should succeed from itself. And all the states, maybe 3 states become one country that are like-minded.
No,
It's just too much to run.
That's crazy. That leads to like...
that's dangerous as fuck.
that
Right? You would
leads
literally
leads to civil war.
you'd have like 8 states in the South that in a week would be like, well, if you're African American, it's time to fucking go.
And then what happens when a state, like, just name a state, Texas, says, you know what, we want Mississippi or whatever's close to there, you know what I mean? And then that state's too weak to fight. And like,
By the way, that
You
motherfucker
don't
has
want
pretty
that.
much moved to Texas.
oh.
They're all moving.
Yeah,
it's
I know.
a done deal.
Oh, I know.
100%.
But again, he talked about it again this week, how he's like, we were in Houston this weekend, or we were in Austin this weekend, or he's in Texas every weekend looking at homes or property.
And I wouldn't be surprised if part of the Spotify deal was them building him the exact same studio in whatever place he wanted to move away from LA.
No way. Not for a licensing deal. I'm not going to fucking do that.
Maybe.
But what do I know? I'm
No.
an idiot. So who knows?
I don't know. Yeah, would it be theirs even if they built it for them?
I'm sure he's just like, I'm fucking rich. It'll
Look,
cost
he
me
could
like...
just take the $100,000 or whatever. I'm sure it's more than that, but the $1 million from his $100 million and build himself another studio
It just makes it how severe it is there.
with a helicopter
Like
pad.
no hyperbole.
Well,
It's crazy that he's willing to move to a state where marijuana is still definitely illegal.
That's the weird part to me. But he obviously hates the government so much that is running Los Angeles that he's just like done.
The
Yeah.
government and the infrastructure, I think.
Well, the infrastructure has always scared him, but the government, I guess, had just stayed out of his way. But now, like, they're dictating when he can do comedy, and I think that's unacceptable to Joe.
It's so severe, though. I mean, we joked about it, and now it's coming to fruition. It's pretty intense.
And did you hear when Jocko suggested, and this isn't the first time I've heard this, I heard this from 2 other people on 2 other podcasts this week, that there should be courses for people to learn how to get arrested.
No, that's fucking obscene.
No, that should be in school. That should be like in home ec or something, one class.
In gym class one day.
Whatever, yeah. Just because common sense is so common, might as well. And someone's going to take that lesson and fuck it up anyways, but at least we've given kids as much information as possible. And doing it in a group class doesn't make it seem like it's only black people who have to heed this.
Yeah, you don't want to.
No, that's the most ridiculous fucking thing I've ever heard.
I threw it out
I
there.
don't think it's that ridiculous. Now, when you say it like that, if it's just like the same way you would teach, well,
No, it's ridiculous. Say it out loud again a couple times. You'll realize how ridiculous
Awkward
it
as
is.
sex ed.
if
or
for
anything
some
else.
reason you're pulled over by the cops and they throw you on the ground and put your hands behind your back and you know you've done nothing wrong, don't resist. Your best bet is to go limp. I don't know if that's
And get
the
them back
best.
down the road. If they wrong you in some way,
and
you'll have your time.
Just try and de-escalate that situation.
Yep.
Listen,
I'm just saying, like, Kamar was like, well, it's like sex ed. I think they teach you sex ed growing up knowing that 99% of the people in that class are going to have sex growing up. I think it's ridiculous to teach people that, hey, we live in a world where there's a high chance you're going to get arrested at some point, and you should know how to deal properly with these fucking maniacs that we've given guns because we haven't trained them, so we should train the public.
Yeah,
it's nuts.
No, it seems crazy. And in places like Israel, they train the kids what to do if there's a bombing. And sometimes, like, the situation dictates what you have to teach your children, I guess. And if this is what's happening, I don't know, man. Like, I don't know.
It can't hurt.
Again, yeah, I don't think... Sometimes we just assume that... everybody thinks the same way you do, you know what I mean? And maybe there are kids out there who have no idea what they would do if they got...
Well, I know when I was younger
pulled
and I was
over
getting
by a
arrested,
cop.
I was like, you can't touch me, and had a lot
You
of attitude.
did do that?
Yeah.
I never did that.
First of all, you should know your fucking rights. Cops break your rights all the time. So the idea that you should just, like, you should have a course on how you should properly deal with having your rights broken is nuts.
No, you should know your rights. So even more, you should have a course where you learn all your
And
rights.
down the road in your case, if your rights are fringed upon, then they're heard. You don't fight for your rights in the middle of getting arrested. Even as backwards ass sounding as that sounds, it's good advice.
Well, again, think about the course you're teaching, whether you want it to be racist or not. You basically are just teaching black kids, hey, this is how you should deal with the cops. Even though they're going to treat you like shit and they're going to be abusive, you should really just lay there and take it because it'll be better for you in the long run. And then against what Kamar is saying, you're actually never really going to get your day in court because the courts always side with cops because cops are treated like fucking the savior in courts and you are going to be treated like a black boogeyman. I don't know. I'm actually thinking what you guys are talking about is incredibly... I can't even believe we're voicing it.
But that's...
Again, I enjoyed this podcast. I think Jocko had a lot of good stuff to say, but this is crazy.
That sort of society and everything up until now, maybe there is a swing changing, attitude changing, that life is going to be somewhat different moving forward. Unless, of course, as Weinstein talked about if Chauvin were to get off, but we'll get to that.
I was suggesting that they teach this to all children, certainly not just to some children.
I understand
like
that, but
to my son, I was thinking how that would be handy for him to know.
I know.
I don't think it's ridiculous to talk about at all.
Aware.
No, it's Simon. You're missing my point. Is my point again? Like you're getting agitated. I don't think. Do you think your son's ever going to get arrested? Do you think if he was being falsely arrested, he should just roll over and take it?
I think that if my son was getting pulled over, was in some crazy situation where the cops were throwing him on the ground for some reason, I would want him to just, and he didn't do anything wrong, I would want him to just try and get out of that.
Suck it up.
Yeah, and I wouldn't want it to be a situation where he antagonized one of these crazy policemen who then stepped on his face or something.
You would be proud of him for standing up for his rights and dying.
Would you be proud of him for just dying because you taught him to just lie there? And I mean, how would you feel about that? Or knowing that there was a course taught in class? I'm asking you this. This is a good thought process.
We're saying not resisting.
Fine, hear me out though.
Increases your chance of surviving an altercation with the police.
Either way, listen to what you guys are saying. We know that not resisting gets black people killed, right? We know that. We've established that already.
I've seen that happen.
I've seen it happen, but I also think that resisting also gets people killed.
Okay, but again, so we're going to teach a class of mixed races, white kids, black kids, Asians, doesn't matter. But we know deep down that one of these groups, if they do what we're talking about, which is lay down, and there's still a high chance they're going to get killed. Like, why are we doing this? Why are we teaching this in school? Why is this even being talked about?
You're right. It's crazy that we would even have to teach this, but
also, we're not supposed to be
hurt out there.
We're not supposed to be living in a world where the police are arresting everyone. So let's take a fucking step back here. The police are not supposed to be putting cuffs on people for things that we're talking about. Counterfeit 20, not cuffable. Fucking loose cigarettes. Again, why are you being arrested?
We're all on the same page here.
But these are things I'm saying. So why are we teaching? But okay, we're not on the same page because you guys think that it would be a good idea to teach everyone how to get arrested by the cops. I mean,
I think it's a good idea to teach everybody useful information.
Have young people conscious that giving police attitude is not going to help them, and they could put themselves in a position where even though they know they're right, no one's going to come and help them, and then it can be really bad.
Fair enough.
Yeah,
because I think some kids have I hate to use the word, privilege and expectation being treated a certain way. And
that's
Yeah,
not
of
always
course.
the case, obviously. And no matter what your skin color is, if you piss off that cop who's in a position of power, he could just take it out on you for whatever reason, whoever you are.
Yeah,
So,
but we know that it's more likely to happen if you're of a different color. Why can you not just like say that?
of course, that's
okay. So there we go. We're
But
at-
again, why would that mean that we wouldn't teach it in the schools? I don't understand that.
because we're not supposed to be living in a world where we're supposed to teach people to be afraid to like. Well, what you're supposed to do is just lay. First of all, we all just agreed that the cops don't care about your rights, and that will often push them and push them and push them. We agreed on that. So again, you want to teach a class on how you should just lay back.
yeah.
That's insane.
if you are being put in cuffs, I don't know, Matt.
It's crazy to teach a course that if you are being treated by the cops poorly, yell at them, scream at them, kick them. Because you got to stand up for your rights.
Hold on.
Well, that's just
I'm
the
talking about
opposite.
not having a class, and you're talking about having the opposite class, which I'm not arguing they should have. I'm just saying when you deal with the cops, you should obviously, first of all, you should probably put yourself in a position where you never have to fucking deal with the cops. Now, I get it. Sometimes we speed. Sometimes we breeze through a yellow that's questionably a red. Sometimes we don't fully stop at a stop sign. I understand all this. We unfortunately have to deal with the cops. I got pulled over last year. It happens, but I'm just saying you should probably do your best to never deal with them. But again, that's saying a thing of privilege because there's kids that grow up in places where the fucking cops are a problem, and they have to deal with them all the time. And this whole like you should just roll over. First, you should definitely know your rights. And if you're in the States, you have way more rights than we do. You should always record them too.
I think the highest interaction of young people with the cops are drunk at parties.
Now there's an app with Siri, I guess you can say I'm getting pulled over, and it automatically starts recording.
Well, it's
Now,
recording.
that's a good
it's
fucking
recording
idea.
already. Don't
I was
fool
just gonna,
yourself.
but yeah. Is that water, Simon?
Round of waters for the boys.
Yeah, for sure. I'm fucking dying here.
Are you guys hanging in there? How's the heat where you guys are, anyways? Listeners.
Kamar acts like this is a Twitch stream. Yo, F in the chat if you're really loving this.
No,
fucking
I just like periodically throughout the podcast to let people know that I'm thinking about them. More so now that I'm on camera. Simon's walked out because he couldn't handle Matt's point. And now he's
No, I
back with his
doubt it.
counterpoint.
Simon, do you not have cold water for yourself? I feel bad.
Simon would give you the
No,
shirt
here,
off his
have
back.
this one.
I said Simon would give you the shirt off his back.
Not that shirt. That shirt was a gift.
Yeah, I'll stand by teaching people things that could potentially help them. Like that's, and if that's not politically correct, I'm sorry.
Listen, you're talking about teaching. We don't have to. Here's my problem.
But
with what you're saying.
apparently we do because we're watching
But
videos where
Simon-
police are standing on people's necks. Matt.
people
So
are
So what does that
resisting
have to
arrest.
do with this guy didn't
don't
arrest? So
stop
what?
yelling.
But no, but
Chill.
what you're saying makes no sense, Simon. If we had taught George, what could we have taught George Floyd to do differently there?
Nothing. Absolutely nothing.
So then your course is useless.
But there are plenty of situations. Okay, listen. Just by human nature alone, there are plenty of situations where whoever it is who's getting pulled over resists for whatever reason. It enrages these guys who obviously have a complex,
Or an edge, some other call that it went wrong, and,
and
the buddy
they
got the
get
shit
and
beat of
it
him or
gets
died.
worse.
So why again? You guys are talking about the general public taking a course in school. Stop. We pay these people. I know we've already talked about training them. It's not our job to be trained to deal with the police. It's not anyone's job to teach us to deal with the fucking police. That's not it at all, Simon. And you're going crazy about this. There's no fucking reason. Like, dude,
I'm not going crazy about anything.
no one should have to deal with the cops the way most people have to deal with the cops.
I totally agree with that. So if the police get overhauled and we see that there's a change and these things aren't happening anymore, then great. We don't have to have this conversation. But if that's not the case, then I think we do.
I don't see the harm, except it demonizes the police from the get-go. You should expect to get fucked over by a cop. Where
Yeah, there you go. You want to teach a kid. The first thing you want to teach kids too is, hey, you're probably going to deal with a shithead cop because we can't train them properly.
But by
That's
17, that was my attitude.
That is a problem with the course. I agree.
It's a pretty glaring one.
Listen, I'm not advocating for this in the school boards. I was suggesting that something they said maybe had some validity. That was it.
All I'm saying is that, listen, Jocko even bringing it up is some racist shit. That's what I'm saying. Straight up. Because again, you can what are you going to teach a black kid? that has to deal with the cops 50 times a day. Listen, just let them do what they're going to do. Just roll over. You have no rights anyway. Like,
I certainly don't think that's the best way to go about it, but
I do.
you'd be better off teaching the kids in the class the truth that, like, hey, some of you actually are going to have to deal with some bullshit, and the rest of you, unfortunately, for some fucking fucked up reason that we won't ever talk about,
or just
have it easier.
Maybe, I guess, you teach the worst case scenario to everybody.
That's my imagination.
And then you don't have to worry about offending or segregating anybody because you're just making sure that everybody is ready for the worst case scenario. We should prepare ourselves for more worst case scenarios. And
Again,
if this
Simon,
pandemic didn't show us that, then,
Yeah,
We're
but
learning nothing.
think about the problem we have with society when you're like dealing with a cop is going to be the worst case scenario. When you're talking about when you haven't done anything.
listen, I agree with what you're saying. If there is reform and this gets changed, then we do not need to discuss this any further. But until that point, I don't think anything is off the table.
Well, we're going to fucking find out. But that's one reason Jocko would never be my fucking vote. Because he has, listen, some of these military guys are stuck in the military.
Yes, for
where
sure.
they think it's the best way, and we're not in the fucking military.
And the idea that everybody who gets through the military is a perfect person to be a cop is ludicrous. Like, just because they made it to that, like, they're getting that wrong there. Because, like we said before, you're teaching people to kill. That's a different thing.
Yeah, he had to backtrack a couple times in this, eh?
Again, not only to kill, like I said, you're also sending them overseas where, like, hey, the enemy is a brown person or a dark-skinned person, and you're going to stay here, and the enemy is going to be dark or darker than you or whatever, I guess, if you're black over there. But you know what I mean? It's not a good way. And then, hey, come back home and police just regular people. I think it's a fucking terrible idea.
Listen, like everything else, there's going to be some of those people who are great to become cops.
Yeah, here's my problem.
It just can't be a blanket statement that all people from the military are good to be police.
But this is my problem. So this is what I want to know, and we never get to know these numbers. Like, for every Jocko and Andy Stumpf, and like for all the well-spoken SEALs that go on Joe Rogan, I know it's hot as fuck, Simon. For all these guys that go on Joe Rogan, that were like, wow, what a fucking inspiration! Like, what a great person. For every one of those, how many really shitty SEALs are there? Like, that just made it through buds, but are a terrible person, ignorant asshole.
Dan Blazarian?
I think
he didn't make
like
it through.
Anything else where you put 100 dudes in a room and there's going to be 10 assholes and 4 psychopaths and you know what I mean? Like, it's a numbers game, and there's going to be lots of them.
But
who get through?
But it's not a normal room. That's the problem.
But so it depends, I guess, when you go into the military. Let's say World War II.
That's totally different. I agree with you, yes.
It's all the military, right? And a lot of those people came back and became cops. Are they the good cops?
But hold on, a lot of that was conscripted too, so you didn't really have a choice. You weren't like signing up for whatever reason.
A lot of people, and I just found this out because I was watching that Vietnam documentary.
Which Vietnam documentary?
It's old.
Okay, sorry. My apologies. Keep going. Keep
Netflix.
going. Okay.
It's like 24 hours long or something. I don't know. It's tons of episodes.
Okay.
But one of the things was that I always thought that everybody went because they got conscripted. Tons of people went before the conscription
I know a lot of people signed up. Yeah, for sure. I get that. A lot of people wanted to fight. But again, that was an easier sign up too.
Not knowing so much.
Well, no. Listen, first of all, once they bombed Pearl Harbor, that feels real. And they took Paris. That had to feel like...
Well, you could say the same thing about 9/11.
But I was saying, if Vietnam had Twitter and all these soldiers, like another guy got his legs blown off today, fell in a pity pit with shit on sticks, or you know what I mean?
Yeah.
It wasn't as easy to know exactly what was going on there, what you're getting yourself into.
Simon, 9/11 was a bit different. It wasn't as if bin Laden and Al Qaeda had like taken 2 other countries and really had like a head of steam and then bombed the U.S.
No, for sure. But I wonder. Yeah, right. I see what you're saying. Chico, just give us 5 minutes. We're almost done.
Editing this whole thing is going to be the end of me.
So getting off this for a second, it was interesting. They were talking about how, Australia brought in certain animals to kill other animals. And then they were talking about how, or maybe it wasn't Australia, somewhere, but they brought cats in to kill all the rats.
Mm-hmm.
No, was that it? Oh, no, sorry. They thought that cats gave the plague. in somewhere. I don't even remember where.
Okay.
I'm really hot. So they killed all the cats. And then they figured out that the rats actually gave the plague and there was nothing left to kill the rats. So it made the plague extra bad.
Prolonged the plague.
It feels like what we're going through right now. Like every decision that we make
It's the wrong decision.
puts us back. You know, it's like we kill all the cats before we even have a chance to see what's going on with the rats.
Well, it's crazy. It seems like no one's going back to play sports. But we'll talk about that in the
Oh
post show.
shit! Yeah, there's a lot of crap going on there. Yeah.
We're not giving Jocko his dues.
Well,
that's for
I mean,
sure.
this is what he
No,
came,
this is
the purpose he came on to was to talk about how ridiculous defunding police was going to be.
Well, like just so another not to bring
Counterpoint.
up the things in schools again,
Yeah,
but
we got
like
stuck on
martial arts in school. You know what I mean? Like I think we'll all agree that that's probably a good idea.
Sure, self-defense, but that's totally different.
oh, that's going to start fights.
No, it's
No,
I mean,
it is. though.
there's also already wrestling in school, I suppose.
I don't think they.
It's an
do they-
elective.
It's
Actually,
a
I think
sport.
I had to take it in high
Wait,
school.
We're at Glebe?
Yeah,
No, I went to Glebe.
with
but
Mr.
Riddell.
Riddell. Yeah, exactly. Because I never would have tried out for the wrestling team, but I definitely wrestled at Glebe.
I was
Did
going to
you wear
make
a
a joke,
singlet?
but it's too
Because
hot.
I had to wrestle Corey Monahan.
Wow. Yeah, bulldog.
Well, luckily he didn't not like me, so it didn't go too poorly. But anyways,
Self-defense in school can't be a bad idea. And then, I mean, cops come from high school too, so everyone knows a bit of self-defense. Maybe have a bit more confidence in yourself before you use a gun. Maybe, I don't know.
yeah. Do you guys remember when Australia was on fire?
Beginning of the year?
Yeah. That seems like
It seems like a distant memory.
no. It really seems like a really long time ago.
Yes.
And
been a-
that was
there's been a
really
lot this
bad.
year.
That's what started this bullshit off, right?
But that was like the planet. That wasn't race
No.
or
I'm
disease.
not comparing it to what's
Obviously.
going on now. I'm saying of like the bad shit that started happening. It started with those fires.
It got the ball rolling
And
on
that
2020.
seemed
Yeah.
like the worst thing possible. You know, you were losing
Koalas.
species of animals that you were never going to see
Billion animals.
again.
And then Kobe.
And then you start losing humans.
Yeah, 2020's been a doozy for sure.
No one's going to argue with you there, bud.
What else do you have for Jocko there, Simon? There's got to be another fucking 10 pages. You said the whole book was this week.
Well, I guess not a lot of it was about Jocko.
I guarantee you
Or
40
maybe
pages.
I have notes
40
that I
pages
know
is
are going to
Weinstein.
start arguments, and
Well,
I
I
don't
ju-
feel like doing that in this
Okay.
heat.
This was a pro-law and order podcast.
Yeah. He was pro-police. That's what I was saying.
See, here's my problem, though, again, and I'll just quickly say it, is if you're going to have a Jocko on, then why not have someone African-American on to maybe at least give you the counterpoint, Joe,
Yeah.
of why defunding the police might be a decent idea, or maybe explain to Joe better what defunding the police means, as because Joe seems to think it's all this Chaz shit.
And I think that Joe thought that Weinstein was going to be that counterpoint, and he wasn't. No. Yeah. Again, only in Joe's defense, maybe he didn't think that at all. I thought he was going to be the counterpoint.
I knew he wasn't. I mean, listen,
I figured his brother would have been the counterpoint.
listen, no one wants to live in a world where it's just fucking anarchy.
No. Of course, nobody wants to live in that.
I am positive that there's not a lot of black people that want to go Joe Rogan and speak on behalf of all black people. That's my.
I'm not
my
saying they
theory.
have to speak on behalf of all black people.
Well, I
I'm
think-
just saying someone could go
I know
on and
you're not saying that, but that's how it turns out to be.
And then what happens if they say something that is looked bad upon? Is that what you think is going to happen?
But hold on. I mean, he had Reggie Watts on, and
It's just pressure. I mean, but Reggie Watts was talking about loving the cops, loving the guns, loving the fast cars, loving the cash, loving the meat.
yeah, but I'm just saying, and there was no real blowback for that.
No.
It wasn't like you saw the next day, like Reggie Watts canceled by the left for going on Joe Rogan and being pro. You know what I mean? I don't know. I get what you're saying, though, Kamar. It's a dicey. I think anytime you go on Joe Rogan, though, for whatever you're going to talk about, it's always a dicey road. You might always say something that gets you, who knows, canceled, Me Too'd. Why is this fucking thing just keep going? It's like I'm lower and lower.
You don't have your sandbag on it.
That's exactly why. I don't have my sandbag on.
Just
Look
answer.
at Kamar. Look at Kamar go. What else do you have there, Simon?
Just trying to concentrate on this page is making me sweat. No, I think that's pretty much it, man. Like, I'm looking for more for you, and I think they talked a lot about.
My only disappointment in this podcast is that Jocko didn't announce him throwing his hat in the ring. But
Well, what about him and The Rock? Obviously, Matt's not into that, but I thought there was like legitimate push for that from Joe.
Well, here's my only thing. I just find this funny about Joe is that in one sentence, he can be like, can you believe our president? He was on reality TV. And then he'll literally turn around in the next sentence is, I think The Rock would make a great candidate for president.
now that Donald Trump can be president, The Rock can be president. Anyone can be president, obviously.
Listen, Ronald Reagan was an actor.
But should they?
That's what I remember how ridiculous Ronald Reagan. Ronald Reagan was president and would fall asleep. Like he had Alzheimer's.
Yeah.
So anyone can do it really.
That's all I'm saying.
It's who they surround
Joe
themselves with.
Biden is the new Reagan.
But he's blue.
Double D,
but
double die.
Weekend at Bernie's thing.
All right, Simon, you're dying, so let's take a break.
It's really hot, man.
Well, sorry, dude. I was born this way.
It's a sexy boy, that Kamar.
Sorry, listeners and
They
viewers.
talked about how restaurants are getting crushed out there.
Yeah.
And I was driving around our city watching these patios open up because that's what's allowed to be open now. And they have like legitimately tables on the street.
Oh, yeah.
They're
They're
taking
doing
every
everything.
inch, and there are people sitting at them happy as pigs in shit to be sitting on the sidewalk. I'm just like, I don't even understand what is going on. It's
Why?
just,
People
It's
want to be
because
outside.
when you were young, you had all your freedom. That didn't get taken
I
away.
get it. I get it. I just,
Also, Simon, it's good. If you think about it, vitamin D helps fight this thing. And we found out that being outside, you almost can't get it. So realistically,
I don't see a problem with people going out. I'm just surprised that anybody would want to sit
I'm not, though. I mean, dude, think about Pancho Villa.
next to a bus.
I think they're all young people.
Pancho Villa used to be like a foot from Elgin.
Still is.
It's not, come on,
Yeah, still is,
that's
sure.
just it though. It's here anyways. It's not all young people. It's a really just everybody wants to get the fuck out, you know?
I'm with you. Listen, there was the lineup at the barber shop the other day was fucking ridiculous.
But you're seeing now some fallout from people getting out. I don't know where that fallout is coming from. Like maybe they are right and the outside pass is virtually non-existent.
What do you mean? Like fallout being people
Meaning
getting
we're
it?
seeing a lot.
spike?
Like again, the numbers could be being inflated by the media. Like I have no idea. But if we're gonna believe it, we're seeing sports teams like you talked about. There's number. There's a rise.
That's in the States,
I don't
though.
know if that's because
We haven't
of the
seen that here
protests
yet.
or yeah, we're seeing some here.
But we're not seeing hospitals overrun.
No, and I'm not suggesting that there should be another shutdown. I'm just saying
Also, the hospital should be better prepared for this now, given that.
well, unless all their shit was coming from China and we're not letting
Touche,
anything in from
touche,
China now.
yeah.
I don't know what's going on there. You've been following that whole thing?
No.
Well, they're just
I haven't followed. Dude, I'm happy. Like your
He's
pig and
going to
shit
learn a
thing.
bunch of stuff in the post, Joe.
I'm happy as a pig in shit. I don't care to learn anything new. I'm happy just fucking living in my white ignorance. I don't even give a fuck anymore. Just everyone leave me alone.
Oh, yeah, this is what I wanted to say. So I totally agreed with Jocko when he said, you know, when everything popped off in Minnesota and riots started and all of that stuff, Trump should be boots on the ground there. There is no you know what I'm not suggesting that he put himself in the middle of the riots.
Bush would have gone down
You know
there.
what I mean? Would he have? I don't know.
I think he would have.
I don't know who would have.
But you think it should,
He has to try and
shut
de-escalate
the fuck
there,
down and not let it burn themselves out like they tried in
has
New
to
York.
try and de-escalate it, and hiding I don't think helps.
The problem is that he's Donald Trump, and I don't mean that in
And
like.
maybe that escalates it.
That's what I'm saying. Is
So maybe he did the right
he's an
thing then.
inflammatory. Like if he's like kind of a medium president, and people are just like, I don't love this guy, but whatever. But he's so inflammatory that.
Like an Obama is an unfair example because, of course, he's boots on the ground. You know what I mean? But
Totally
I'm trying to think
unfair
of like
example.
another good president, and I'm having a hard time bringing one to mind. But
Well, that's because we don't want to talk about Clinton because he's a total piece
Clinton
of shit.
would have
and
gone. Clinton would have gone.
Yeah, Clinton would have gone, probably. Well, you don't know that.
Clinton felt like he was really accepted by black people.
Yeah, he also instilled the fucking mandatory minimums that...
Right. I'm not saying he's a good guy.
No, I get
I'm
it.
saying
I know.
in his head,
Yeah, in his head,
he
I'm
might
with
have
you,
thought
yeah.
he was like grandfathered in somehow, and I don't know why I would have thought that, but because he played the sax.
Don't forget about Billy Ray Rector, too. Not Donald Trump. Bill Clinton flew back to Oklahoma. Or no, not Oklahoma. Where's he from?
Arkansas.
He flew back to Arkansas while he was on his presidential race just to make sure this guy got executed. And the guy was like half retarded. And I mean that in the pejorative.
So was Clinton popular with black people?
I think he was at the time, yeah. He may still be.
He got voted in, so I think you have to have a decent amount of the black vote to get...
So
Although maybe not. Trump
did
got voted in.
he become bad after the fact, or you're saying he had always been...
I think the problem with
racially
presidents. I think the
insensitive?
problem with presidents is at the time you don't like if they're more on your side, it's tough to see the forest for the trees. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? Like Obama, everyone just they talked about it this week how Obama's presidency might have been worse than George Bush's for all intents and purposes, just as far as like policy implementation and things they did. But you looked at Obama at the time, and he just spoke so well that
It only comes out after the fact.
it only comes out in the wash, and then it's too late. You don't care. There's already a new news cycle, a new president to shit on, and it becomes a moot point.
Do you have your little pad over there?
Yeah, why you need it?
No, but could you take something down, some numbers for a sec?
Sure.
Let's do a little bet. We'll all throw $5 in the pool of over and under of when Joe leaves.
When he moves to Texas?
Yeah, when he leaves California. Let's just I don't know where he landed, but when he
Before he goes exclusively on Spotify.
you're gonna have to be a little. What do you want to do here? Like a
Well,
month?
yeah, I was gonna say, I
let's
was
do
gonna
a
say
month.
by September. By September, he'll be in Texas.
So by January.
And I think it's gonna happen sooner than that. What month are we now?
So you think it'll happen
June
in
is
either
just ending.
July or August?
I think
to
by the end
solstice.
of July, Joe will be gone. Does that give him 1 month from today? Yeah, almost, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. That's so July. That's my month. And you guys both say September?
I said
You're gonna
January.
He
have-
said January,
Oh, he said January. Okay,
I said
there you go.
September.
Perfect.
and you want me to write this down?
But I mean, what you say makes more sense because if he's going to move, he wants to move not halfway through the school year, whatever that means.
So I'm writing you down for August or July.
So July 31st. Before
We're
July
not doing-
before
okay,
July
before- okay.
31st. And Kamar, if you really want to be like a dick, you could do a wheel or Price is Right here and go like
No, I'm
July
Oh, he's
30th.
sticking
about my
with
guns.
January. I'm
I
saying
thought about you
before.
asked,
I'm
so
saying
predictive.
before September 30th, the 30, whatever. And then Kamar, you want January?
If you say the first, then you're kind of taking the month of August. You know what I mean, Matty?
I'm not. I've said September 30th. Yeah.
Wow, it's written down and recorded. We're held to it.
Okay, well, let's use that as our outro.
There's no outro. They're not gonna. This is gonna be seamless,
Oh, yeah, right.
right? So it's just gonna be like, boom, we're back. There's not gonna be any fucking. There's no nothing special here. But
Just
we do
like
have to rate it, Simon. Don't forget. No, that would have been a great segue for sure. Great subway.
I'll try again.
Kamar, do you want to rate the Jocko episode, please and thank you?
Yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
I didn't see why it had to happen except that Joe's pro cop. I give it a 3.
I thought I liked it, and then when Matt made me argue some of his points, maybe I just accepted what he was saying too easily because they were having like an agreement-a-thon, you know what I mean? And then
easy
I
to-
don't have to think too much.
It was a
about,
super agree-a-thon.
It's easy to
But I
have that
still
happen.
stand
Yeah,
by my teach it in school. So
that's fine. We're just asking you to rate it, not stand behind your points.
yeah, sorry.
But good of you to just really,
Hammer at home.
yeah.
I give this one a 3.
All right, I give it a 4. I actually like the episode. There was some good stuff to. I don't know. I don't agree with everything Jocko says, but I think he's at least. I enjoy that he's at least articulate enough to get his point across well to where I can say I definitively know where this guy stands. You got something white on your nose there.
Do you think he's a bad guy?
No, not at all.
No.
I think, again, it's tough.
I think his intentions are probably pure.
Sure. I mean, again, I think it's tough when you are a military dude and the problem with these military guys, I think, is they have a tough time remembering what it was like to be just a civilian. They're so ingrained in that, like, I don't know.
The hierarchy of following. I always thought he was a hardcore Republican. I have no idea what he is now. This episode, I'll tell you that much.
Yeah, I agree. It's tough. I mean, I think he still leans right, but
Law and order.
only slightly. Only
He
slightly.
leans law and order.
All right, well, Simon, you want to snap your fingers? All right, Simon, name a number, please.
Yeah,
Oh, you don't have any numbers anymore, you said.
I might. I don't know which ones I write and which ones I don't. Just hold on a sec, because I got to get...
1493.
yeah, that's it. 1493. Just say the name, Kamar. I don't
Michael
even fucking
Imperioli
care.
and Steve Sharippa
Yeah.
of the Sopranos fame.
Now, these guys got a lot of nerve, eh? Starting a podcast, reviewing a show.
I know.
But the fans were begging for it.
Oh, I think it is a perfect idea.
It's crazy that it had the second highest numbers on HBO during COVID.
The resurgence.
Well, my daughter watched it for the first time during the lockdown.
Oh, well, this is a great segue. Or what did she think?
Of The Sopranos?
Yes,
As a younger person.
she loved it. Okay, so even the younger generation.
Everybody loves it.
Did she think it was a comedy?
I didn't ask her, but I don't think anybody thinks it's a comedy.
It's a dark comedy.
Why do
I
you
hate that chord's twisted like that, but I'll let it go. Oh shit! With what I paid for these chords, that's a fucking heinous thing to do.
It's going to take a lot of work.
It's fine, Simon. Just leave it. Too much messing around over there. You're like Pam in the kitchen.
Well, I really like Michael Imperioli.
Okay.
I don't not like him. I just you again, you fall in love with a character that he plays. Like Christopher was great. Everyone loved Christopher.
That's true.
Steve Sharippa seems a lot like his character, whereas Michael Imperioli is nothing like his character. It's because I already knew this. I didn't find this out in this episode, but when I found out that Michael Imperioli was like a hoity-toity Shakespearean type actor, it really like fucked with me watching him on The Sopranos for a little bit, but then I got over it. You know what I mean? Like I fell back because he's such a good actor.
He's
you
a good
easily
actor.
fall back into his character. Of
course.
And that's the kudos to him. Yeah. But like I was saying to Matt, it's like when you find out that McNulty from The Wire is like a British guy who only did Shakespeare, or you find out like Stringer Bell, same thing. You know what I mean?
That makes him a better actor, though, right?
It makes him a better actor, but I don't know. There's just something about believing that the guy playing the character is more like the character makes it more real.
I don't know that it makes it more real. I don't know. There's something, I don't know.
I think there is something in us, whether you like it or not. I'm not saying like we're out there thinking that on purpose. I think it just happens, you know?
I don't know.
I think it's to each their own. But I personally, my gripe with this one is I would have preferred it just to be Michael Imperioli.
Really?
I felt, well, I mean, the other guy brought the laughs because he's a comedian. Mm-hmm. But I felt he was dominating a lot of the conversation. And it took an hour, and Mike realized he had to jump in.
I mean, I agree with that, yeah.
I think Michael Imperioli was the afterthought.
I disagree.
No,
I
they,
think,
they both came in to promote the podcast.
let me say this. Let me say this. Despite what the two of these guys say, and I'm saying this as someone who gets like 150 downloads on YouTube, so I'm not talking shit. But that podcast of theirs only gets like 40,000 views on YouTube. So it's not like it's doing fucking gangbusters. They needed to be on there for a little bit of a boost, I think. Also, I got to admit, it's not great to watch. Like I was amazed to hear them be like, we have a producer and all this stuff.
Well, it got brought to them, right?
Well, and that was what my next question was going to be. Do you think this is exactly what Bill Burr was raging against? Like these guys signed over their podcast to some company and it's now being totally produced. They don't have to do shit. They came to these guys' houses, set up studios during the lockdown, all of that good stuff that comes with...
Bill Burr, you mean?
Yeah.
Isn't that what I said?
I thought you said Bill Maher.
No, I definitely
sorry.
said Bill Burr.
Okay.
Burr.
It basically,
I'll hear it in the editing.
I think
No,
falls...
you will, because I don't... Bill Maher is never on my mind.
Fair enough.
Even to make a Freudian
I think it falls
slip.
under that category, but if you're an actor and someone says do this and you see podcasts, you hear someone just signed $100 million deal, like, yeah, let's get on this.
Well, no, they started it before Joe got his $100 million deal, for the record.
Well, they knew podcasts were profitable and a thing.
Sure. There's a few things I want to. I haven't listened to every episode, but like I was watching, someone posted a clip of The Sopranos the other day, and it's a scene I love. I think it's in season 1 where Christopher goes in to buy cannolis at this bakery, and this dude walks in after him, and the young kid behind the counter goes to serve the guy before him, and Christopher's like, whoa, what the fuck do you think's going on? He throws the other guy out, and then he ends up shooting the kid in the foot. My point, though, is simply that in that scene, I don't know if you remember, the guy that's in the bakery with Christopher is Vito. Mm-hmm. But his name is Gino.
He plays 2 different characters on the show.
I hate that.
Yeah, that
cheap.
is. You know what? I remember noticing that the 3rd time or the 2nd time I watched
that
it.
shit drives me up the fucking wall.
It drives me crazy. It's like why I can't handle Marvel with Captain America. He was the fucking Human Torch. You can't just bury a movie in the annals of history
He's got a great
and pretend
agent.
like it didn't happen, you know?
No, but that's it.
I'm with you, though, Matt. I didn't like that at all.
Stuff like that, to me, it's like you guys have such a high quality product here with so much money behind it. The engine behind this thing is huge, and you can't just cast another. Like,
you know what, Matt? That it's the equivalent of the Starbucks cup in Game of Thrones.
oh my God. Well, that was just egregious, actually. That was last season.
This is egregious, too. You know, like, I don't like it. I'm with Matt. I don't like it.
I mean, I've also spoken about this, too.
Sorry.
No, just real quick. One of the things that I love about Netflix and that this new era of television has ushered in is that they got rid of the pilot. What I always fucking hate is, and Sopranos is actually the worst one for it. If you watch the Sopranos pilot, the lighting is terrible. Meadow didn't have her nose job at the time. Like, there's 1,000 things where you watch it, you're like, this is, and then it just changes. The next episode, all of a sudden, it's like, oh, there's some money behind this, and the lighting got worked out, and that shit drives me crazy too. But they don't do it now because now Netflix is like, we like this show, it's greenlit. Here's $10 million. Just get us the final product.
Just in shows' defenses, a pilot switch, I'm okay with that. Like if you have a kid playing Meadow in the pilot.
Oh, that drives me even crazier.
Well, no, because that happens.
I know that
happens. I mean, they
happens.
do a shitty job in the pilot, but everybody else is great. Like you got to live with that.
Fine, but
I'm willing to concede there. But this veto thing happened well into the 2nd season. Am I correct?
no, it was season 1.
Oh, it was.
Well,
Okay.
either way, he's in an episode in season 1, and he has a talking role.
Right, but it's not the pilot.
No,
Because if it's the pilot, I got to eat all my words. You know.
maybe it is. No. Even if it's the pilot in this case, you can't recast someone later on just because they played a bit role in the pilot.
I see. You have to forever scar them from the role. You're right. No, Matt, you are correct. That's right. If you get fucked over in a pilot, you're fucked.
Yeah, it's tough luck. Either way, I mean, I actually, for some reason, and you can call me homophobic, I don't think I am. I just hated the whole Vito storyline anyway. That part to me was like so drawn. They drew it out way too long. The fact that The Sopranos never told us what happened to the Russian guy in the Pine Barrens, but Vito's gay storyline got literally.
Oh, you're saying it was Vito? I thought it was. Remember, Christopher had the guy who was always with him there.
Yeah.
Who's his name?
What, Brendan Falone?
Who's Brendan Falone? No, not Brendan Falone. This guy was like, he was like a little short Italian guy.
Oh, Benny.
Benny. Wasn't it Benny who doubled the roles?
No, Vito.
I feel like he did it too, man.
Well, maybe he did, but I don't remember that one.
Okay,
No, it was
it
Vito.
was Vito. Because Vito and Christopher aren't like the same age. You know what I'm saying?
It has nothing to do with age, though. It was just that the guy walked in after him and was all friendly with the guy behind the counter.
It wasn't Christopher's buddy. Who he
No.
was in there with. Oh, I
what
see.
happens
Okay,
is
gotcha.
Christopher walks in to get cannolis, and he's in line. This guy, Gino, who later becomes Vito, walks in after him. You hear like the bells and everything go off.
Gotcha. I understand. I misremember the scene, but
That's why he throws Vito out or Gino out. He's like, you get out.
I remember.
Yeah.
I remember. Yep. Gotcha.
What does he say to him? He's like, do I look like a pussy to you? And the kid's like so scared. He's got his gun out. He's like, no, not at all.
But go
I'm
ahead.
just at a massive disadvantage because I never watched The Sopranos.
That's crazy because I was just going to say The Sopranos is one of the best shows of all time.
Hold on.
Change my mind.
I can't. I've seen.
That's like
episodes.
somebody saying they've never watched E.T. That's like somebody saying I've never watched Star Wars. Like, what the fuck are you doing?
I think I saw the last 2 seasons, Sopranos.
Do you know
I'm
why
sorry.
Do you know why The Sopranos will always go down as like it will always be in the conversation at least forever? Is because it paved the way. It changed television.
In so many ways.
Like
Groundbreaking.
You could argue that Oz was like before it because
It
Oz was. No, I know it was,
before it.
but Oz didn't.
It didn't have the same movie
I get it.
quality.
I get it.
Oz was hard to watch for the first couple of seasons.
Oh my god, some of it was.
I mean,
it
all
looked
of it.
like they filmed in the hallway at a school.
All of it was hard to watch because of the content, but
Yeah, a
those
lot of gay sex,
first
a lot of
couple
gay
of
rape in that.
seasons, it was like Degrassi Junior High in fucking prison. But wait, I'm sorry, Matt. You are giving Kamar a massive pass here.
No, I was gonna jump all over, but how, Kumar? In this day and age, with
I didn't have
with-
HBO when it came out.
But you haven't.
Yeah, but
now.
you have it now.
I have it now. Yeah,
So how? And in a time like we just went through a pandemic, I guarantee you needed shit to watch. I know you needed shit.
Hold
to
on,
watch.
you told it. You watched You. Didn't
We
you
watched
watch
all sorts of
all
garbage.
seasons
This
of
is-
You,
this
and you
is
didn't
what
watch
I
The
mean.
Sopranos?
no, I need to watch it.
Wow. I guarantee you, though,
Kamar, you
Kumar,
have seen The Wire, correct?
Yes. I will tell you this, though. This podcast is interesting whether you watch The Sopranos or not. And now that I can watch The Sopranos, I have their additional supplement discussions episodes. I'm better off than you guys.
do you know what I find really?
No.
Do you know what I find really interesting though is like what they're doing is something that we a long time ago all agreed we don't give a shit about, which is like extra commentary on the DVD.
I don't know. I've liked some of them.
Like some
Like
of what?
director's comments. I'm trying to think.
The only one I can ever think of that was incredible was Tropic Thunder. Mm-hmm. Because Robert Downey Jr. goes in, because in the movie he says, I don't break character until after the DVD gets released. And he comes in late with In-N-Out Burger for everyone, but still doing the accent. He holds the fucking...
In the commentary.
In the commentary, he
It's
does the
entertaining.
character.
Well, what do you guys think about what's this podcast called?
Talking Sopranos, I think that's...
So it would be talking.
I thought it was the Sopranos experience.
Sopranos.
Sopranos. Yeah.
So Christopher directed a bunch of episodes of The Sopranos.
No, Michael Imperioli did.
Okay, he is forever Christopher. To
Okay,
me.
my bad.
We're not doing that.
My bad.
Christopher Moltisanti directed a bunch of episodes. Now you're forcing me to use his last name. Pine Barrens was one of those episodes, I believe.
No, Steve Buscemi directed that
Oh,
one.
Steve Buscemi directed. I knew it was somebody famous. Which ones did Imperioli direct? Do you know?
I can pull them up for you.
Yeah, that would be great. I'd like to know that. Pine Barrens is definitely one of my favorite episodes.
Of television, period.
An amazing podcast would be Paulie and Christopher.
Well, hopefully they bring, although he's super old. I don't know if you've seen him lately.
Matt, he is so old, it's insane that somebody could age that much in how many years has it been?
Well, 20 now.
Well, 20, but he looks like he's aged 100 years.
Christopher does?
Christopher, no.
Paulie.
Christopher also looks much older, but like anybody gets older. Paulie, because we assumed he was a certain age. I put him at like 50 on the show. I think at that point he was actually 70 playing 60 or 50, and now he's 90.
He's an
and
old
he's
man.
an old man, yeah.
Yeah, no, he's really, they did the Sopranos 20-year like thing where they all got together. And holy fuck. I mean, he's still got his wits about him. Like he tells a few...
Kinda, but he starts telling stories and goes
I know.
on way too
I know.
long.
You can
and
tell they edited, you can tell they did a great job of editing his shit.
It was
to
such
look,
an old man moment though, eh? Like when your grandpa would tell a story that would just went nowhere.
well, there's a few times even when they do go somewhere, but it takes painfully long to get there. Like he's like, then James said, and he's just shaking the, his hand, like that old man shake. You're like, dude, please get it out. Please. What do you want to know, Simon? Which one's Michael
Are
Imperioli
you
directed?
not getting the
I
fun?
declare. I'm fine.
You need a do-rag. Not a do-rag.
We need a dry ice sponsor.
A bandana.
We need
what do they
a
call
dry
those?
ice
Wouldn't that
sponsor.
be amazing?
With the ones you put in your
A handkerchief.
the handkerchief. Yeah.
We need a dry ice sponsor. I like that. I like that a lot.
But yeah, Pine Barrens was such an amazing episode. And that's what's great about this podcast. I haven't listened to it yet, but just the premise. I subscribed right away because I
So did I.
I plan to listen to it.
But will you watch the episode and go back, or will you know all the episodes? You just want to hear what they have to say.
I know the episodes in and fucking out.
But,
I know you do.
But maybe I will.
I think we're gonna do it as a.
Oh no, I don't have Crave.
As an accompaniment.
But yeah, Pine Barrens is such an amazing episode. But you're right. We never find out what happens to the Russian. He never pops up anywhere else.
He might as well be speaking Chinese.
That's like a lost moment on The Sopranos, eh, Maddie?
But again, it would have been such a cool, like last season, just bring him back to kill someone, whether Paulie, Christopher.
No, I'm saying like a lost moment, like they did that on Lost. Everything would have been cool if they told us in the end. They just didn't, you know?
It's just numbers on a wall.
Whatever.
Fucking asshole.
It's just a giant fucking foot with 4 toes.
Yeah.
Figure it out.
Yeah.
So, like I said, my disappointment was there was less Michael Imperioli than I would have liked in this episode. But when he finally got a word in edgewise and he started talking about his the theater he made, and then he started stepping over himself because he was going to end up saying, "My wife fucked up so bad." like he kept saying, "The money," and he was really trying to save his marriage without disclosing too much. I found, you know what I mean? Because like, oh, my wife said she'd make all the sets. Oh, I don't even want to get into it. He kept talking about that. I shouldn't say anymore because I'm just going to throw my wife under the bus.
Oh, I didn't feel like that. I just felt like it was such a labor of love that it was.
I feel like it almost ruined him financially. Even though he loves the theater.
How could it ruin him financially, though? He must have made so much cash off The Sopranos.
But theater of 75 people.
How
they
much?
built.
How much were they all making back then, though, Maddie? Like it wasn't
you're
like $1
forgetting-
million an episode.
Hold on. You're clearly forgetting that the gap between like season 3 and 4 was like 2.5 years. It was one of the longest in television history, and that's because James Gandolfini was demanding more money for everyone.
And Christopher is also like he's a regular on another TV show now. Like I would assume that he has tons of cash, but that was a long time ago too. So who knows?
Yeah. I don't know.
But he must have had enough money to think about doing that project in the first place. So that's fuck you money. You know what I'm saying?
That's the best kind of money there is. And I thought they paid great homage to James Gandolfini.
Yeah, I mean, that's another thing. Like Jim, whatever, he was nothing like his character either. You know what I mean? But I never knew that about him.
Even the voice, when you actually hear him talk in real life, you're like, whoa, what just
because
happened?
he never did interviews, which was so smart on his part because he never took me out for a second because I never saw him anywhere.
He was too busy partying hard.
You know what was a great movie that he's in is The Mexican? Is that what it's called?
True Romance.
Well, he's one of the thugs in that. But in The Mexican, he plays...
Brad Pitt.
Yeah, and Julia Roberts. He plays like a gay hitman. But was he gay in real life?
James Gandolfini? No,
Yeah.
he was a ladies' man.
He was a ladies' man, okay. Anyways, that's a really good movie. I don't know if you guys have ever seen it.
Simon, I'm having the fucking
I know I've not.
hardest time finding...
Who directed episodes?
Yeah.
I hope someone's screaming at their listening device right now, knowing
Why?
which episodes he directed.
Oh, I see, yeah. So good.
And then
We can get it at it later if you want, Matty.
they had a nice little Weinstein bass session, eh?
Weinstein, yeah.
Which I found very disturbing when they started talking about his deformed penis.
I'm super confused by the deformed penis. Like, is Joe sure of that?
I mean, the only way he could be sure is if actually he had seen it.
Or if somebody he knows had seen it?
But it seems like it's word on the street and somewhat common knowledge from injecting cocaine in his penis.
Well, but that just makes the story is so horrible to begin with, but it makes it so much worse because he's then forcing girls to...
Yeah, that's what bothers
Like,
me
it would
the
be
most.
one thing if it was just a normal penis.
Yeah.
This is like a fucking Frankenstein penis, you know?
I love how to you the
It's
rape
so
is...
much
I love how
worse.
to you the rape is worse because of his deformed penis.
I hate to agree with
I'm not-
Simon,
I'm
but
not
it's
even-
true.
No, you don't.
I'm not
No, you don't.
even necessarily talking about the rape. I'm talking about even the coercion of all of it, using your power to try and get these girls to just give you a blowjob.
At least have a nice penis.
At least not have a fucked up penis. Small, big, crooked, whatever. But like if it has holes in it and
mean, dude, look
looks
at-
like
hold on,
it's
hold on.
fucking deformed and shit, you can't
Look
do that.
at
They all deserve Oscars.
Look at Harvey Weinstein. look at his face and tell me you didn't think, did you look at that guy and go, I bet that guy has a sleek, smooth 7-inch penis? Like, no.
No, I thought he probably had like a small, fatty cock. You know what I mean?
Weird. Cool. Yeah.
I never thought about
whatever.
it till it came up in this episode.
Me either, but now that Matt's saying it, you know what I mean? I imagine he had one of those man gunt things.
Yeah.
And then his dick didn't even come out from
Past
the
the
man
gunt.
gunt.
No,
You
he
know
had a
what I mean?
mangina.
It was folded in.
No, not that,
Okay.
not that bad, but getting there. You know
Not
what
a
I mean?
micro penis either.
Not a micro penis, because I think we just would have heard about that by now. You know what I mean?
Yeah, that would have come out in the.
But I thought we would have heard about the fucking Frankenpenis also. You know what I mean? And we never did. So who knows there? But yeah, no, that's what I was thinking. I mean, like when you think about Epstein, right away you think egg-shaped penis, right?
That's all I think about.
We have to now.
I wonder if. I'm an idiot and I'm high.
Yeah,
I
do
wonder.
it.
I wonder if Weinstein's in jail, but it's like Goodfellas.
Slicing his garlic.
That's what I'm saying. Like he's still got it made, and he's actually still calling the shots in Hollywood. Like tell Brad Pitt he doesn't get shit.
No, he's got to be persona non grata.
Of course he
First
does.
of all,
I'm
I think
making a
he's
joke,
really
obviously.
sick. Yeah, I think.
I think that was all bullshit.
Oh, really?
Of course.
Just for the cameras.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
I mean,
that
I
makes
also
sense.
listen. I think he got stressed out and is in prison and is extra sick, just given that he's not living his lavish lifestyle. But
But you want to look feeble.
yeah, I think the goal was to.
Well, and two, if he was getting like a bunch of treatments all the time, stem cell, baby's
There you go.
blood, all these things,
Blow
that he
jobs from
needed-
18-year-olds.
that he needed to stay young,
Yeah.
baby's blood. I'll say it again. He can't necessarily get that in prison. If it is a Goodfellas type scenario, they're probably just bringing in that baby's blood for him, you know. But
It's with the sliced garlic.
well, they bring it in like tomato juice cans, and then he uses the sliced garlic to flavor it up. Just back to the Sopranos for a second.
Please.
Such an interesting show because, and it's neat because we actually took a part of a course on this in high school for some reason. We had a really cool teacher who used it as like an example of
No, he was a piece of shit.
There we go. Opinions vary.
Who was your screen ed teacher? Is that who you're talking about?
No.
Okay.
No. It was in some English course. Anyways, because it was about the anti-hero.
Fair enough.
But sorry, I'm trying to think now who your teacher was that you are so upset
Goodwin.
about. Oh,
Or Godwin, was
Yeah.
that?
He was my favorite teacher.
Oh, a total piece of shit. I told you about the turd and scrub.
oh yeah, right. The turd and
Fuck
scrub.
that guy.
Yeah, he held Matt back in life.
Total
What was
piece
I
of shit.
saying?
You were talking about the
anti-hero.
anti-hero,
And
Tony
just-
Soprano.
Yeah, and in television, really, I think until that point, we hadn't seen like where you're totally rooting for the bad guy, and especially because I'm sure you had seen it in movies, obviously, but that's for such a short, period of time. The thing about Tony is the worse stuff he did season to season, the more you were rooting for him. You know what I mean? Like it was an amazing character. Or
I mean, yeah, yeah.
directing
He's
or
one of the
something.
best- he's one of the
Something
best
was
characters
fucking amazing.
in
But I'm just trying to
television
think.
history.
I'm just trying to think too, though. I mean, I don't think they made it that obvious that he was the anti-hero. I think
Oh,
they
he cheated on his wife. He killed people.
Yeah. But hold on, they blurred the lines a lot. Like with the animals, they specifically had that animal shit in there to blur the lines.
Okay, hold on a second. And that's fine. I hear what you're saying. From a dramatic device,
Sure.
they put the ducks in there.
Not only the ducks, the horse that
I know-
Ralph kills.
I know, but listen,
Okay.
let me get to it. He does I gotta help Kamar. Hold on.
He's gonna pat you down. He's gonna give you a little fucking.
Wrecked fucking fan. I can't watch this anymore.
I'm on death row.
You would definitely fold under questioning.
Tony, right. So he was
The ducks.
he just did everything bad. And then they throw in the animals. I get why they do it. It's to help you
Humanize him.
him. That part never humanized him for me. You know what I'm saying?
You know what I think humanized him for you? The sessions with a psychiatrist. Because then you saw he was conflicted.
Not so much you saw he was conflicted. You saw that he was really just like fighting the same demons that maybe
Flawed,
we're all
yeah.
fighting.
I think take that out. no sessions with the psychiatrist, he's a shitty person.
Oh, for sure, that played important roles. You know, it's interesting. I've watched this show.
It was his family too, though.
I was just gonna say, I've watched this show so many times that in different parts of my life, I've related to Tony for different reasons. But like the way he, my son never played any sports. It was never a thing for him. I played lots of sports. My dad could come and watch me play sports. I can't watch my son play sports. I saw that with Tony and Anthony. You know what I mean? He was so disappointed. I obviously don't berate my son for not playing
You
those
could log on
sports.
to Twitch and watch him play League of Legends.
I could, totally.
You wouldn't be proud.
Anyways, you get my point.
Yeah, I get it,
I
yeah.
didn't handle it the same way, but I could certainly relate to him feeling that way.
But AJ did play football.
Yeah, really kind of only be for half a season or something and then quits. And that was a whole weird thing too, man, where Tony goes and cheers for him too much and then he goes and smokes weed the next episode or something. Like, he put too much pressure on him, obviously. But Anthony was like, his character was such a pussy character.
AJ, you're talking about Anthony Jr.?
Anthony Jr., yeah. That he had but that was so interesting too. He had the wrong father, like legitimately, you know? Tony hadn't gotten over his own shit. Kind of like Bill Burr was talking, you know? If you're still so caught up in your own fucking head.
Yeah, but I don't think it was that. I think it was that like Tony's dad was like a big shot, but like they didn't have a ton of money. The mom was nuts. You know what I mean? So he didn't provide what they didn't have. Tony had to come up the same way.
I don't mean it that way. I mean
Okay.
it like Tony was still going to therapy big time. He was still having massive panic attacks all the time. He was dealing with like the flashbacks of remember when he has his first panic attack because
the
his
meat
dad
store.
chops the guy's finger off in the meat store at
Satriali's.
Thank you. Anyways, you see what I'm saying though, Matt?
Yeah.
Anyways.
You guys need a podcast discussing this.
Well, this is what I was saying. We could do the
Well, I think anyone could. Like, I'm not joking.
Talking Sopranos.
I cannot.
When I had it, like I had it on DVD in the days where there was no streaming services. Like when I lived in Montreal with my girlfriend, we didn't have fucking cable. We would just, you want to watch want to start it over again? Boom.
Who's your favorite character on The Sopranos? I'm putting you on the spot here because I know mine. And
I mean, it's got to be Paulie. How could it not be Paulie or Syl, one or the other?
You haven't watched
doesn't
it.
Michael Imperioli.
He hasn't watched
Christopher.
enough.
You've watched 0 episodes?
No, he said the last
I
two
saw
seasons.
I saw the season finale.
So you watched only the season finale?
No, I remember the psychiatrist is I don't remember the actress' name.
Lorraine Bracco.
There are certain times I've rewatched The Sopranos. I might have watched it, I don't know, 20 times, start to finish, where I've just fast forward through any part that Lorraine Bracco is in.
Oh, weird.
Different show?
No, when I watched it,
Like
I just
the
watched it.
5th or 6th time I watched it, I was like, no, I can't. I don't want to hear her shit.
You guys have just endorsed it too much.
My favorite character?
Yeah, go
Uncle
ahead.
June.
Junior was great.
Love him. I think that actor, I don't know anything about him.
Dominic Chianese.
I remember them talking about him in this episode. I don't know anything about him.
He was in Dog Day Afternoon.
No, but I don't know what he's like in real life. You know what I mean? But he played that role so amazingly, like to be the heel and not the heel. Again, he's like Tony, but not Tony. It was all really good, man. It was a great show. There are so many layers.
I
No
want to
one
know.
disagrees with that.
I would have loved to have seen where the show went if the mom didn't die in real life, because that's what happened. Olivia.
Oh shit! I didn't know that.
Yeah. So
So
they had to
she
kill. They
dies
had
in
no
the-
choice. She died in real life,
because
so
they
they had to
killed
kill her
off
suddenly.
at the exact right time because her character was becoming too like over the top
Intrusive.
mean
Sure.
and like evil. I found it was better when she like didn't know exactly how evil she was being, but she was still being really evil. You know what I'm saying? There was still a naivete to her that I don't know.
Kamar's tapped out. He's had enough of this.
Sorry. Come on.
No, I'm trying to remember the guy's name.
I did like how Michael Imperioli was very honest about like acting and actors, and he wasn't like, you know,
The directing stuff?
Yeah,
When
everything.
the guy said,
you
do
know?
that funny, I was like, what do
Yeah.
you mean, am I joyous? And it sounds
I mean,
pretentious,
I guess
but
it
yeah.
sounds pretentious.
I just like when
don't know.
I do like though when the director looked at him and was like, I'm not good at giving direction. And he was like, that's the fucking name of the job.
I would love to see footage of actors losing on directors.
I'm sure it
especially if you're
happens
bigger.
all the time.
All the time.
Especially if you're one of those guys who
Steve
just gets
Sherpa.
into your role. Steve Sherpa?
He was the other guy, yeah.
That's
This
I
guy.
said that.
Yeah, I forgot his name.
Oh,
Like the guy we're talking about?
Exactly.
Shit.
Because he talked more about comedy and that stuff, and he was like, I just go in there and get these roles. I thought it was funny, where it's like, remember that movie you did? And Joe's like, no, I never did that movie.
yeah. And he's like, no, you did. It was with Johnny 2 times or whatever. And he's like, oh, I did do that. Because he was like, I've only done Kevin James movies. That's the only movies I've done. And then after like 45
Yeah, exactly.
seconds, he's like, oh my God, I was at that. Yeah.
That's
Kevin
life
James.
fully lived.
Sorry, I'm sorry, come on.
Well, that you forget doing a movie.
Just shows you, yeah. Well, I don't think it's a life fully lived. I think it's that Joe has his hands in a million different things.
Same difference.
Yeah, I guess, yeah.
Same thing.
Kevin James is in a new movie on Netflix. Have you seen the trailer for it or anything?
No.
Or is it maybe not on Netflix, on something where he's in like a serious role where he plays like a Nazi guy with a swastika on the back of his head and shit.
Wow.
Wow, that's
The
bad
movie
timing.
the movie looks terrible,
It's very bad timing.
but it's an interesting choice. Yep. Well, he's trying to get into like mainstream, I guess. He doesn't want to be the fucking mall cop anymore.
It's a good way to do it. Play a swastika wearing
He's got fuck off money.
Kevin James. Yeah,
Is Pryor versus Chappelle like Jordan versus LeBron? Is that just you're never gonna get? Because to me, Chappelle is better, but that's because I don't know enough.
I think Chappelle has to get a degenerative disease for it to be
Pryor.
even.
I look at it like this. There couldn't be a Chappelle if there hadn't been a Pryor. It's as easy as that.
Yeah,
for
okay.
a lot of reasons. Like, first, what I mean, though, Simon, is if Dave Chappelle doesn't watch Pryor fuck his life up the way he does, maybe Chappelle does some wild shit, too. The reason we have Chappelle with the longevity that we do is exactly because he got to watch his favorite comedian.
The trails blazed.
That's
Yeah,
it.
no, I totally agree with what you're saying, and my question is still going to be, but I'm asking you to tell me who's the better comedian, not who was more important to comedy.
Oh, Chappelle's the better comedian.
I wonder how many people will actually say that. I mean,
But I think
again,
it's an unfair, again, like, okay.
is that like saying you would say who's the quarterback for New England?
Tom Brady,
Tom Brady, but maybe give me an old quarterback,
Joe Montana.
even older,
Terry Bradshaw.
who may be better, but we just haven't seen enough footage, you know?
Well, that's really what I was going to say. Is well, it's not even footage. Is that if you could even go back and watch all of Pryor's stuff. If you weren't alive, then you might not get a lot of the references. Like some of the references might be super quick and witty, given what was going on at the time. But it's a small thing that you don't even get or care about.
I
I don't
feel
know.
like you're making excuses for somebody to vote for Pryor.
I think the thing about them both have in common is that they're very honest, whereas some comedians are like, you could be a successful comedian and no one really gets to know who you are. Chappelle, especially in his last couple specials, it's all just him, and that was Pryor. Pryor wasn't a caricature of a comedian.
Right.
They're very similar in that aspect.
Did you know, Matt, that Harvey Keitel was up for an actually film?
Apocalypse Now.
Yeah,
No, I
as
didn't
Martin
know that.
Sheen's role.
No.
I didn't know that either, man.
That's always a good reason to have actors on when we say there isn't actors. Little inside
because they just
Hollywood
know a
stories,
lot
yeah.
about actors. But that's kind of cool.
But he was
that's-
to New York.
I mean,
That's-
I can see it.
That's one thing I'll actually give you, Kumar, is like someone like Michael Imperioli has seen every indie fucking movie. He's read every play. He knows Shakespeare in and out. Like there's a lot of stuff where sure, if you're into that shit, that guy is probably your fucking guy. But as I've stated many times, I fucking hate those actor types.
But I didn't hate that Michael Imperioli was on. I
I
just thought
hated that he
maybe
did not
should-
get enough word edgewise.
I didn't hate that he was on either. I listen, first of all, I texted both of you and was like, Simon's going to love this, which I then in retrospect realized wasn't Alien or Epstein related, so he probably wouldn't enjoy it as much
I
as
just
had.
finished it.
Joe must have really thought. I'm sorry. I'm so sorry. What did you guys just say?
When he texted us, Simon's going to love this one, I'd already just watched it. He goes, yeah, I guess he will.
This, yeah, and like Matt was saying, I thought that something really great was on. This was good. But
My expectations were heightened.
Again, for me,
Through the roof.
I apologize. I said to you, my only thinking was I knew you were as big a Sopranos fan as
Yes,
me,
no,
and that you would
I
be like,
loved it.
oh, cool. But I thought after the fact, I was like, you know what? in retrospect, the way I texted seemed like someone came on and was like, I have an alien in a box here.
Yes,
and we're going to show it to you. And this alien says
fuck
he has
Bigfoot.
photo selfies of him and Bigfoot underground. Yeah, and then Simon's just jizzing everywhere.
Oh my God. Are you feeling better now? Because I need to switch this back to me.
Switch it back to you, buddy.
I'm just over here on an island dying.
Are you dying there?
Go
too?
ahead.
Fuck.
I'm fine.
I don't even know, man.
Listen, the only reason I wore shorts too is because Kamar wore those fucking monstrosity of 70s shorts for the throwback. So I thought.
I came dressed like I thought the place was going to be cool.
Yeah.
What I was going to say was, it really occurred to me. I've heard Joe do this a couple of times where people ask him what he thought about I'm Dying Up Here, the series on Showtime.
Jim Carrey?
No, Jim Carrey was like
Produced
the producer
it, yeah.
on
Okay,
it, but
sorry.
it had Cheeto Santino main role, huge role, like leading character. What's that other guy there? Another one of his buddies, huge role. There must have been 4 dudes on that show that Joe was like friendly with, if not good friends with.
Was Pete Holmes on that?
No.
That was the other
Crashing.
one. Yeah, sorry.
Yeah, this one was like a serious one, and it was based totally loosely on the Comedy Store.
I think that's why Joe doesn't
One of
like
the
it.
characters was Mitzi. Well, here's my thing, though. I think he must really not like it because he claims he didn't even watch it. He said, I only watched about half of the first episode and just knew it wasn't my cup of tea.
He watched all of Mrs. Maisel.
And watched all 3 seasons of Maisel. No, but this is what I'm saying. This, like, Cheeto Santino, this is a huge thing for him. Like, a huge vehicle for him.
Yeah.
He must have really not liked that show.
Yeah, I think he's
Because this is the
too
only
close
way
home
he can
covering
be
the Comedy Store.
diplomatic about it. Yeah, I guess.
Is there have you guys watched it? Is there a Joe Rogan character
I
on there that
have.
maybe they threw in?
Oh, shit. I never... No, because
No.
because it's back in the 70s. Or
Maybe they still
early
threw a knock
80s.
at him. Maybe there's some bald workout dude.
They would have, if they had done that, they would at least have been a
Yeah,
Sam
no.
Kinison character.
There wasn't one that ever occurred to me that would have been him.
Fair
while I
enough.
was
Fair enough. I
watching
just
it.
thought I'd ask that. Maybe
I
that's
knew that the Tonight Show was still everything.
okay.
But I didn't... I watched it, both seasons, and I didn't at all think it was a bad show.
I was disappointed it got canceled.
Like, if you compare that to Miss Maisel, you're talking like...
Haven't seen it.
oh my... Well, it's terrible.
Say it myself.
You know how I feel.
Yeah,
about
that's
that
another
show.
thing I felt about this podcast. I felt it was Michael Imperioli asking Joe more questions. When the interviewee starts to interview,
We don't like that.
we don't like that.
No.
But I think that was the only way he could get a word in edgewise because Steve Sherpa was just...
Well, I think the problem though is that also
Sucking the air of the room.
Michael Imperioli, maybe I'm wrong here, clearly has never listened to Joe Rogan.
No.
Him and Steve Sherpa already know each other well. Joe and Steve, that is. So he's coming in at a disadvantage.
Yeah, the rapport's there. I understand what happened.
I know. I'm not,
When I saw it, the first hour I was like, is Imperioli going to say anything? And then he started getting into it and it was all right.
how are they seated, Kamar? Was it Sherpa right
Sherpa's
across
right
from Joe? Yeah, see, that was the mistake they made.
Of course it is.
Sorry.
I was just going to say I would have just preferred Michael Imperioli.
Who directed the Tyson one-man show? Was it Spike Jones or Spike Lee?
I'm pretty sure it's Spike Lee.
Spike Lee.
But let's not guess.
No, let's guess. We're
How
wrong
about
tons of
Michael
stuff.
Imperioli winning Celebrity Chopped? That is not easy. That is a really hard show.
Did I miss that? Was that in the last half hour that they talked about this?
I don't think
I don't
so.
know.
It just came up.
And then this
organically.
was another question I had in this podcast. Okay, so I found out that through Joe that John Gotti's son is a really good MMA fighter.
Okay.
There was a show called Growing Up Gotti that had all 3 of the sons on it.
Yeah.
Does that mean one of those sons is now a really good MMA fighter? And if so, I have to see his picture.
Yeah, I believe that's what it means.
I thought maybe sometimes on those shows, Matt, there's siblings that don't want to be on it, and you just never even know about them.
Okay.
Like it happened on...
Yeah. I get what you're saying. There's 3 other brothers, but it just they don't even
Exactly.
want the limelight.
They, for whatever reason, didn't like the contract or whatever. I don't know. I think it happened on Run DMC show there, Rev Run show.
Spike Lee.
Which is funny you mentioned
Spike
that,
Lee.
Simon, because they filmed a scene at the New York Film Academy when I went there, because she went to the New York Film Academy in LA. But they were like, it doesn't matter. We'll just plop her in one of the classes in New York. We'll get some B-roll of her in class, and then we'll So they had like she came in for a half hour, sat there, acted like she was in class, and then they fucked off with the film crew. Ridiculous.
If I said to you before this episode, who do you think the only actor to ever punch out Harvey Weinstein was? What would you have said?
Well, I know the answer. It's Brad Pitt, isn't it?
Nope. Oh, you still don't know? Well, here's a fun game then. Actor, party, punches out Harvey Weinstein.
I would have thought, I know the answer.
You know the answer.
I would have thought it was Brad Pitt.
Because of something with Jennifer Aniston or
I think it was
Angelina
Paltrow.
Jolie?
It was Gwyneth Paltrow, yeah. Who would I have thought knocked him?
So now that you don't know,
okay.
I'll give you a hint.
No, don't give me any
Yeah,
hints.
because you're never going to get it.
Well, then let me never get it. Michael J. Fox.
Okay, on Vogue. Very close, though. He is Canadian and short.
Yeah, and but he's a television star, not a movie
Same
star.
hair as Michael J. Fox as well.
So
Kinda.
Canadian.
Not the same hair as Michael J. Fox.
Hold on. A male Canadian television star.
Yeah. But not a Canadian television
He's
show.
Canadian.
Yeah, I get it.
Yeah.
I'm working this out.
Oh,
I'm not going to get there, though, so just tell me.
They're in high school.
I don't care. Just tell me.
Jason
Pit.
Priestley.
Jason.
What did you just say?
I was going to say Peach
Jason
Pit.
Pitt? Oh, Peach
I was
Pit.
Peach Pit was the last.
Yeah, that would have given it. Yeah, for sure.
Jason
Priestley
Priestley
knocked out Harvey Weinstein.
So now
Wow.
the question is this. Who did Jason Priestley date? Like if we wanted to
All of them.
go through the...
All of them.
Shen Doherty
No.
and her crooked eyes.
I mean, maybe was Weinstein involved in that show? I don't think so. It was a spelling show.
It was Aaron Spelling.
Yeah.
Good call.
Yeah. Tories.
Yeah, I wish you'd thrown that at me. I would have researched it, brought it prepared.
And obviously there is going to be a Harvey Weinstein movie. There's no doubt about that. That's the way our culture works.
Well, that's the
I
way
think
that-
Joe was
that culture
crazy
works.
to
Hollywood
think
eats itself.
not. So on that note, who do you think would play Harvey Weinstein?
Tom Segura.
What?
Or Burt Kreischer. I
Let's
thought you were talking
let's
about Joe's World.
No. Let's be serious. Like actors. I thought Nick Nolte could play him.
No.
You just dismissed that right away.
Maybe.
What the fuck has Nick Nolte been in the last
Paul
5 years?
Giamatti.
I'm talking about who looks like him.
Paul Giamatti.
Paul Giamatti. Oh, that's a good
do
one.
it.
Yeah. He'd have to get really fat for it and fuck up his dick.
De Niro could probably do it.
Yes, he's specifically he's that much of a method actor. He's like, I have to fuck up my dick for this role
Just
really
starts
bad.
Over injecting
Yeah,
coke.
I have
into
been
his
injecting so much cocaine in my penis for this role. I don't know I don't know who would play him. Who cares? They'd probably actually get like Chris Pratt or someone and just make up the shit out of them. Oh,
Fat
Gary
suit.
Oldman. Gary Oldman in a fat suit.
Gary Oldman. Oh, Gary Oldman can play anything.
There we go.
There you go. Drexler.
Drexler. Yeah.
Drexler. That's a great movie, man.
Such a good movie.
So underrated.
Now you come in here and you ain't noticed that there's a titty on the screen for the last 5 minutes, and it's a big old titty.
Well, and that takes out of you when you find out he's British.
Yeah, no shit.
Gary
And
Oldman is British?
Ah,
Are
I
you
should have said
fucking
anything.
nuts, yeah?
And totally classically trained and totally
on.
actor.
Actually, you know which one fucked me up the most as a kid, finding out they were British? Who played Mario? Anthony? No, what's his name?
What do you mean
Mario.
Mario? What are you talking
In
about?
the movie.
Like a Super Nintendo movie?
Yeah, they had a movie, Mario.
I don't know.
And it was a famous actor who played him?
Yeah, here, I'll fucking
Too old
pull
for
it
that
up.
shit.
Who were we just talking about?
Danny DeVito. That who played Harvey Weinstein.
Who were we just talking
Danny
about?
DeVito play.
Who were we just talking about?
Gary Oldman in True Romance.
Oh, Gary Oldman. He was so good in that it was like years before I knew he was Drexler.
Bob
Yes,
Hoskins.
well, he's got dreads. Bob Hoskins. Yeah.
Oh, right. I remember that stupid movie.
But
Who
either
Framed
way,
Roger
but I
Rabbit?
remember Bob Hoskins was the very first, because he was in a lot of stuff when I was young.
like
I
Who
felt
what?
Framed Roger Rabbit?
yeah.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
So, and there, I watched
Oh,
that
I
movie
didn't-
over and
yeah.
over again. So I remember when I found out as a kid he was British, that fucked me up.
He's British too?
This is
Jesus
a whole
Christ.
new podcast.
This is
coming
no,
out.
this is a new movie game.
Didn't know they were
Would
British.
yeah, actor,
Literally.
British or not?
No, I definitely didn't know that.
Yeah, British.
Oh, Hoskins.
Bob Hoskins. Yeah,
Hoskins. That sounds British.
there is no way our podcast is not going to be 4 hours.
Oh, my God. We're done.
We can't do 4 hours.
We're done.
I
We're
can't
done.
physically
No,
do
we're
it.
done with this, so we're good.
Well, then there's not going to be a post show. We're doing something's got to give here. You're done with this one?
Done.
Okay, rate it, please, quick. For the love of God. And
This-
again, for the
This
listeners,
was a 4.
This would have been a 4, except I didn't get enough Michael Imperioli. I give it 3.5.
Oh, it's got to be a 4. This one's got to be a 4. Bordering on 4.5, but I didn't finish it, so that's on me. I'm really sorry, guys.
And
There's
I think
no
we
excuse
did
for
a
it.
really good job.
You
on
deserve
this.
better. You'll get it
Oh,
sometime.
no, it was good. We did a great job.
All right, we are going to take a little break, pay some bills.
Thanks, sponsors.
We'll be right back. Thank you to our sponsors. Simon, episode, name.
Sorry.
I'm going to say
Yeah,
1494. No, 1495.
I think this is one of the best episodes of the year.
94.
94.
Brett
Weinstein.
Like Ben Stein. I
Yeah.
can't hear myself. There we go.
It's your fault.
Yes, it's my fault.
Yeah, this might be one of the best of the year.
I just found it like they actually talked about like 4 or 5 specific things in depth and sort of covered them, rather than some podcasts that they just bounce all over and keep going over ideas. They literally went one thing and then moved on to one thing, and it was very concise, and I enjoyed it for that.
Mm-hmm. I agree.
Except I did not know what STEM was when he announced that they're now teaching that STEM is racist, and Joe was blown away. I was like, well, what the fuck is STEM?
Well, they talked all about STEM in his brother's episode.
I understand, but I did not put together, and I had to look it up, and it's the 4 disciplines of academia, science, technology, engineering, and mathematics.
Mm-hmm. Are you all right, Simon?
I don't know, man.
Is having the door open not doing it for you?
I'm waiting for a breeze to hit.
It's not going to happen, dude. It's super hot out.
Wishful thinking. Let's power through this for the fans.
Yeah. Okay. What do you guys want to talk about?
Well, it's crazy that they have courses that are teaching that science is racist and that it should be abolished. That was pretty crazy. I mean, that was his point, right?
That they're teaching. Sorry, repeat that for me.
They're teaching courses in university that science is racist and needs to be shouldn't be used anymore.
Mm-hmm.
Which is just madness. How does that become curriculum?
I don't know. Come here.
It's like taking an English class and learning that you shouldn't write properly.
Yeah. Well, I think that's been Joe's thing about the transgender issue from the start, right? Like, are you fighting science?
But it's like when he was at Greenwood College, was it?
Yep.
That was like a canary in the coal mine. He was saying, this is going to come out, and here we are now, and it's expanded in society.
Evergreen College.
Evergreen, thank you.
What did we say? Greenwood? Yeah. Yeah, right. Yeah, I guess he's a pretty... Because what did he get in trouble for?
For pushing back against the black-only day.
They wanted...
Black-only
Yeah, that
day.
was it. They wanted no white faculty or students to show up for one day, and he said, well, I teach here, so I'm going to show up. And then he got fired. Him and his wife, I believe.
So, yeah, that's right. I remember. And then soon after that, the college closed, didn't it?
It ate itself, yeah.
So he talked about Civil War, and you guys are all just blowing up.
I'm blowing up, but I'm not.
I'm double-checking that
I'm just
fact.
turning all this shit off.
I thought you were both getting texts that I wasn't getting, like, invites to something.
Yeah.
I don't
It's Joe
like-
inviting
I
us
don't
on the
like that.
show.
Actually, I don't even have my phone. Maybe I got invited too.
It's fine. It's out in the hobo trap.
So yeah, Civil War. He talked about that, and it's interesting because I was listening to a thing where they were talking about how you always assume that Civil War meant 2 factions of a country against each other, but the true definition of Civil War, Matt, is
Fighting the government.
that's right. But
What are we in fucking school here and you're testing to see if I listen to this episode?
no, you and I just talked to. Holy shit, man!
When did we talk about it?
It's a deja vu.
Not very long ago, and we both told each other that part.
Okay.
It was just.
Are you sure it was me?
I'm pretty sure. I'm pretty hot, but
I was gonna say.
I'm pretty sure we've done this already. But he was saying like, so yes, you could have the people fighting the government. That for sure is a possibility. You could also have the racial divide. You could have the rural-urban divide, because the people who are living out in the country right now, I mean urban by anybody in the city. I don't mean,
African Americans.
well, I don't mean like lower, not all white people, poor white people too. You know what I mean?
Dance, monkey.
I'm saying country and city. I'm not.
Sure.
Okay.
Yeah.
That could be a fight because people in the country live by totally different rules than people in the city, you know?
Country law.
Country law. And a lot of the
Rural rudes.
Militia type groups are coming out of the country, obviously, because that's
The well-armed militia.
That's
groups.
where they're able to get together and militiaise.
Blow up trees.
I don't think that's a word, but I like it. And then rich versus poor. There's just a lot of options right now for, it's like a powder keg, obviously.
But if we get rid of science, it's going to just be dumb on stupid.
It's going to be...
But yes, that's true. But it really brings that Reagan speech into like full picture now.
Which Reagan speech?
Where he said, what we need to bring us all together is a threat that can bring us all together.
The alien threat.
You got it, buddy.
Gotcha. So you think that's coming? Stage 4, phase 4.
Okay.
You're convinced that they're going to blast a holographic alien.
For the life of me, I was like, why are they admitting to the aliens?
Yeah.
They didn't need to do that. There was no need for them to disclose anything. They could have fucking played stupid. Or at least not made such a big hoopla about it. But because they want you to be aware of it. And again, that brings me back to my point from last week. I don't know if I made it in the post, Joe, where I was saying, I think the government I think aliens totally exist. And the government has been using that fact for a very long time to their end, to trick people into things about aliens,
We've got the right man in office to release it, though.
Yeah, it's interesting. I mean, you saw that stupid speech or the interview with his son there.
Yeah, that's weird, but yeah.
I mean, that makes me think that he doesn't know anything.
Well, that's the common consensus.
That's the consensus, not just with Trump, with all presidents. And I don't think that's so far-fetched if we believe that there's actually like a cabal running the U.S. government, you know?
Well, I feel like when I think about it, it would be like this. Let's say there were powers above the president. First day you get in, you're like, can I know about the aliens? And they'd have to think like, okay, well, we can't tell him day 1. Like he might just turn around day 2 and tell everyone. So let's wait a bit. We'll feel him out. And then
see if we can trust him.
Sure. And then 4 years in, he gets reelected. And he's like, so, aliens? And now at this point, they're like, well, he can only be around for 4 more years. So do we tell him on his way out? Because you can't tell a guy on his way out.
And by that point, they have fucking footage of him
diddling mad kids. Okay,
you
gotcha, yeah. So then, yeah,
if they didn't already. Like, I think all of these guys who are getting into office, they already have shit on them. And there's no way they're getting at this information. They wouldn't even think they had the right to ask because they know that they're puppets, you know?
I mean, if you are a kitty diddler, the smart way to do it is to only recruit, like once you get into a position of power, only recruit fellow kitty diddlers into other positions of power.
Mm-hmm.
So
well,
no one
for
looking over your
sure.
shoulder.
But again, I think it's like Epstein type scenarios where, you know, you're starting off with 21-year-olds and the next thing you know, they're introducing something young. And then next thing you know.
Hold on. Epstein was the other way.
It's baby's blood. What do you mean?
When he was in Florida early, that's the young ones. And then later on, he was dealing with like 22-year-old masseuses. They say the 12-year-olds, but we never met those 12-year-olds.
Right, but if Epstein was really what they think he was running quite a huge ring with things Clinton.
I'm just saying, according to the documentary that we've quoted 15 times.
That documentary is bogus.
Okay,
it's garbage.
well,
except for that painting. I wouldn't trust a fucking word. No, I don't know about that. But
except for that painting.
To me, that documentary is very odd.
I'm impressed we got here.
Yeah, sorry.
Hold
Let's
on.
get off of here. Let's get
This
off.
has nothing to do with the, they're coming to turn us down because we're on fire.
For the record, we kept the doors open. It's just way
This
too
is
hot
live.
in
This is
here.
a real patois of a podcast.
This is really ruining the podcast.
Downtown in
though.
the city. But yeah, they didn't talk about any of these things on this podcast, but they talked about some really important things.
Well, he really brought to
You
light.
can't talk right now. Just let it.
Hopefully everyone survives.
That's a really big fire, man.
Or
That's
a car accident
that's
or something.
4-truck blaze.
All right, go ahead, Simon. I'll do my best to edit that nonsense out.
Inside of academia is just as dirty as any of these dirty fields, though. That's what this guy really
Money
shows,
ruins
you know?
everything.
And when he was talking about the telomeres with the mice, because that was what his brother had brought up. And I don't know if I had told you, but I asked my dad about that because my dad also works with mice. And he said that it was a huge problem here.
So much stuff was based on
These mice coming from 2 different places. Like he was telling me that there wasn't a giant mouse distribution center. You know what I mean? Anyways, it's just interesting. Bring it back home.
what was difficult to listen to when he went through the whole George Floyd scenario.
That was so weird.
He really had to pick his words carefully. Because he wants Dennis Chauvin to get convicted, but he's saying if he's convicted just because of emotion, we're going down the wrong path. And that he could
Everybody is due process is what he's saying.
And all of us emotionally say, well, fuck that guy. We saw what he did. He's got to go to jail. But he's got to go to jail because the evidence said what he did broke the law. Whereas
but I also said this, like when it happened, I said, because everyone was talking about first degree, and I said they have to charge him with what they can get him with.
Well, who knows in the investigation, maybe they proved that they had a fight at the bar that they worked at together and that he has something in his house that shows he has a grudge towards him and wanted to. So,
Can I ask you guys a question? Do you think that there's never a time where, and I'm being totally serious here, do you think there's never a time where the government interferes with the law?
So what does that mean?
well, yeah, they can pardon.
No, or
I mean, that's a great example right off
do
the
you
bat.
think it's impossible that some judges are manipulatable?
Do I think that's impossible?
Yeah.
No.
Why? Well, we have evidence that
We know
happens.
that judge that was putting the kids in
he was putting
jail
work-
for money.
Yeah.
Everybody, so just a question here. So everybody probably who watches that George Floyd thing will admit that it was murder of some sort. You know what I mean? I guess you can debate the degree.
Mm-hmm.
If it does go to court and
It's going to court.
and somehow it goes the wrong way, there's going to be mayhem.
Board your windows.
But that's the weird thing is normally if it wasn't so highly publicized, they'd normally just offer him a plea deal. They'd be like, look, take fucking 15 years. We'll give you manslaughter 1, and you're going to do every day of that 15. You know what I mean? Like that would be, normally that's how this would get done. Actually, sorry. Normally, if this wasn't so highly publicized, he'd probably still be a cop on the street right now. Let's be serious. But since it is so highly publicized, they can't even offer him a plea deal. They have to go to the problem is this, where do you find a jury that doesn't know about this? Where do you find an unbiased jury of 12?
But like he was saying, and so delicately, a jury that knows about this can be presented with evidence, and if it was warranted, even though we all think that was inhumane, but if it says police can't put their head on a neck on a guy's head,
Yeah, but there's the problem is the reasonable doubt is all it takes
That's
is
what
one semi-racist person on that fucking jury, and that's it. It's just one person
this
for
is, and sorry,
This is
that
what it
was
is.
the point I was driving at, is because this is so combustible, and we know that probably the government interferes sometimes anyways. Maybe they should just interfere for the better good here and make sure that this guy fucking goes away forever, you know?
but then that's a slippery slope. He was discussing that.
I understand the
And I
slippery slope he's
don't want to defend this
discussing.
guy or whatever, but I don't want to go away because no one likes me. but I didn't do anything wrong.
But this guy did something wrong.
He clearly did.
But that's exactly my point, is this guy did something so wrong. So in this case, it's actually justified.
Well, if he's not a police officer, he did something so wrong.
We know they do it when it's not justified. So, like, now's the time. Now's the time to make sure that this thing goes the right way and this guy gets punished forever.
What we hope is the guy kills himself. That's the best case.
No, isn't it worse if he has to live forever in prison as...
Well, he won't live forever in prison.
Oh, they'll put him in protective custody.
In solitary.
Things can happen in prison. Look at Jeffrey Epstein.
No, it's put him in that prison, fuck. Guaranteed he won't make it through.
Yeah, I guess it's best for him to suffer and repent for the rest of his life, but
we all know that's, I don't know.
As long as he's alive, there's a chance he get off, and like we said, that would be bad.
Right. So what he was saying, Kamar, just to your STEM thing, he was saying that the Enlightenment, which was such an important time in history and for science, that was all white people who did that. That doesn't mean that we should now not use what we learned in the Enlightenment.
You can't cancel science.
Right.
But they want to. Somebody wants to.
But you can't, is what... Right, like that's.
Well, and you can't have black only day at your college, and he fought back against that, and it sort of won. So
I mean, it didn't win. The school closed.
They're not
How did it win?
I don't think the school closed. That's what I was looking up.
They're not quite the same thing.
They're not quite the same thing. I'm just saying this can't happen. It happened. Oh. And I think throughout this podcast, you're saying these things can't happen, but they can happen.
Right. But I mean, like, look, gravity is not going to stop existing. You know what I mean?
No.
There are certain, unless you prescribe to flat Earth.
Yeah,
theory, in which case.
Maybe he did not explain explicitly how this will look with the eradication of science, but we're all of the sound mind that it's just impossible for it to happen.
Well, you can't eradicate science because it's all around you. Anyone tweeting about eradicating science, you're using science to tweet. So
I guess we got to look at what they did in China in the revolution, in destroying literature, destroying stuff like that. You can try.
It doesn't work nowadays. You can't destroy it. There's the internet, so
maybe they blow up servers. I don't know.
I don't see this. I don't see this ill-prepared gang blowing up any fucking server. I don't know.
Well, because they don't know. That's the bottom line. They don't know. To eradicate all this stuff, what the world looks like after. It'll be a world without racism. I heard an interesting thing on CBC that some of those hand washer things, automated, don't see black skin or darker skin. And I don't know if that means the programmer is just like, there's so many things you have to think, because AI, does it understand what racism is?
Kamar, when the last, or whatever, the current Xbox came out, it came with or you could buy a little... like camera that you would sit on top of your TV, and there were games you could play almost like VR, but without putting the goggles on. And it couldn't it was having trouble recognizing black people as well. And there was this huge pushback to Microsoft. And I asked the same thing you did. I was like, okay, let's stop and ask though, is someone programming in don't recognize black people, or is it just harder for a camera and AI to see certain,
Well, the person isn't racist doing it, so they don't even think that's going to be an issue.
You could make the argument that if everyone that works at the office is white and they only tested it on white people, then that was obviously an oversight that could have easily been had they had one minority or person of color in the office. But maybe they did. Maybe they had, who knows?
We don't know.
We don't know, yeah.
He did push a little bit on, he thought that George Floyd had a heart attack before he hit the ground, and Joe had to set him straight on that. And then also on, there was something else. Oh, the policy. What was the policy of the police force about putting knee on neck?
That's what I was saying.
They had to check that to make sure, which he was also wrong about.
Thank God he's wrong about something, because if he's right about everything, we're going down a really bad path.
Yeah, but this is, okay, but this is, I just want to play Diablo Avocado for a second here. Is like, if this guy got those two details wrong, what makes us believe that he's not gotten other details about other things wrong?
Well, the rest was kind of opinion.
Because he speaks concisely and confidently.
I agree with you. And
he's humble.
Well, the Mouse Tillimer thing, like, he also has to realize that 90% of the audience listening has no fucking clue what he's talking about. And that he has a pretty big berth as far as what he can get away with there.
Nobody's going to call him out on the telomeres?
Well, like how many people on the Reddit, on the Joe Rogan Reddit were like, hold on.
The only reason I could follow
Just
that
my
is
dad.
because I listened to him and his brother on it. And I talked about it, and his brother, that's the whole reason he had it on.
Sure, but you couldn't go in depth about fucking mouse telomeres if someone sat here and asked you
No, but
about
I think what the concerning part is the people know this, and it's like, rather than fixing, it's like, shut up, don't say anything about this. Like,
Yeah, I agree. That is the shocking part.
that's the fearful part. But then he talked with great concern about the presidential race, which caused a lot of controversy because the left is sick of Joe questioning Joe Biden's mental capacity,
Oh, are they?
which caused Joe to be. They tried to cancel him on Saturday.
Sorry, repeat that for me, Kumar.
Who's they? Where was this?
Twitter.
Oh, Twitter. Okay.
When he was talking about Joe Biden's mental capacity. I mean, for me, it was just reiterating what we all sort of think, but it really pushed people or rubbed people the wrong way.
Look, call me ageist, but like, name one thing you would want to be involved in that was led by like an 80-plus-year-old anyone, man, woman. Nothing.
Parking my car in the same lot.
Water aerobics.
I would still want that class to be run by someone younger and more fit.
Bingo.
Again, you need someone faster to be dropping those balls in there. Like,
I'm not going to argue with you.
yeah, I don't understand why people, I don't know.
Because I think people think Joe has a lot of influence, and they're like, shut the fuck up. It doesn't matter what's wrong with Joe. Don't say anything wrong with Joe. We're getting rid of Trump.
I mean, I'm not going to lie. I definitely get the vibe that Joe will be voting Trump in this next election.
Well, I don't think he can vote Biden at this point. Maybe he just won't vote.
Well, hopefully, if he does, this show does have influence, that Admiral and Andrew Yang come out of nowhere, and that'd be exciting.
I don't want Yang anymore anyway.
We don't want Yang anymore, but
After he endorsed Biden, I was like, well, this guy's just a puppet as well then. He didn't really want to change anything.
it's like the police.
No, but forget Yang for a second and forget that general because I don't even know who he is. But his idea was interesting. Two people running the presidency, both from different parties, so always diametrically opposed. And when they couldn't agree amongst themselves for the better of the country, it goes to some sort of tribunal or something. I don't know exactly what he was.
But I mean, you could kind of argue that Parliament is kind of
Well,
that.
I've always said
But
the vice
it's
president
gotten-
should be one party, the president should be another party. And then both sides feel like they have someone in there.
Right. Yeah. I was going to say, but you know how prostatized it's all gotten. Like, yes, of course, a lot of things started with the best interest, and look where we are today, you know?
But I guess that's the real question is like let's say, it goes back to the defund the police thing. Like, if we put something in place, absolute power corrupts absolutely, or whatever. Like, what's to say that we're not just going to end up back here regardless?
Well, I mean, you could just say that about everything, you know what I mean?
I'm not saying we don't try. That's not my argument. I'm just saying it's.
No, but that's what I'm saying. No matter what we do, like, we could always end up
Yeah, of course.
back where we started.
No, I mean, we need to try something new for sure.
Yeah, I mean,
And then finally, the big interesting thing for me was him talking about COVID. I don't know now just how you brought up, well, he's wrong about this, wrong about that, but the way he was talking about how he believes
Based on the proteins in the
was
virus.
manipulated.
Yeah.
And it really frustrates me, and I don't think there's any hope. The fact that it's been, if it was detected in China in October or
November,
whatever, to this point, unless China just won't cooperate, what do we know about anything that we can't figure out where it came from? Like, down to patient zero. Like, all the resources in the world you think would be towards this, right?
I mean, I get what you're saying.
And today we do not know
if
right
they
now.
found Osama bin Laden in a hole in the fucking desert, why can't they figure out patient zero? And I kind of am with you, but I don't think it's that easy.
I can tell you the answer to that.
Aliens, X Factor.
No, not aliens or X Factor. The only people who can give you that information right now is the WHO.
The band.
No,
Robert Palmer.
the organization, and they are in the pockets of China. We know this. So until somebody who you trust can get in there to find the fuck out, which hasn't been the case so far, because China is keeping everything we're taking somebody's information who we don't trust.
Yeah, there's no hope then.
Not yet.
Well, we can't figure that out and have it. Okay, this is where it came from. Now we can work towards this never happening again. We're not at that point right now.
Well, this guy said that that factory, that lab, had lots of different countries doing business out of it.
Ergo, we should have more insight into
Or
it.
maybe we do.
Did you just ergo?
I had
Dude, this guy is out of control. The ergo, vis-a-vis, we're getting fucking pejoratives.
Days are numbered. I got to use all the words I know.
So I don't know if you guys remember this, but a couple of months back or weeks back, I don't even remember now, I was telling you how I felt stupid because at the beginning of the pandemic, they told us no masks. And I said to myself, that doesn't make any sense, but they told me no masks, so no masks. So for a long time, I didn't wear a mask. And then I decided just whatever, I'm going to wear a mask. I don't care what you say because it makes sense to me. And then they told you it was best to wear masks again. And that was fine. I don't care. Whatever. Fauci came out and said categorically, we knew it was in your best interest to wear masks, and we told you not to preserve them for the doctors. Okay? So they lied. Straight up lied. How the fuck can you trust anything these guys say?
You can't.
This is insane.
Yep.
It's
is
one
down, down is up,
It's
man.
one thing for me to just feel that way, but this is bullshit, man.
Yes.
And they want to maintain credibility after telling you, I lied to you, but now believe me.
Dude, and I said this before, we'll never know because we all fucking went inside. What if we had all gone inside and wore the masks? Look, we didn't any mask. You could have wrapped a fucking scarf around your face. You didn't need to use a doctor's mask. If they had told you right away, leave the surgical masks for the doctors, but everybody go home and who has a sewing machine, start sewing and start giving masks to your neighbor.
That still would have had to run a mask just like toilet paper.
Dude,
We don't know that.
you
I
can't.
mean, I saw DIYs. You could make them with a sock.
Yes, you can make them with anything.
3 cuts in a sock and you have a
Dude,
mask.
this is again like say if you're going to try and argue this, it's like saying, well, they didn't have the money. Well, we know they fucking had the money. When they needed the money was there.
Money's never a problem.
Never. Okay? Like, the masks weren't a problem. These people were fucking devious, man.
And so
And if you think it was, if you think it was in the best interest, I was going to whisper something into your ear. If you think it's in the best interest of them to keep this from you for the benefit of the doctors, you have another fucking thing coming. There is some fucking fugazi hijinks at foot here.
I don't think that, but I do think they're going to have an issue if there's I don't think it's going to happen, an outbreak that's really bad, and it is in our best interest to have another lockdown. I think it's going to be a hard pill to swallow.
Oh, I totally
and a
agree.
tough sale.
Impossible. It's an impossible sale.
All
at this
credibility
point.
is gone.
And what if we really need it? They're the fucking boy
If we
who
needed
cried
it.
wolf.
I don't
man.
think it was necessary in the first place, or like he said, a massive lockdown.
And next time, we're gonna be like, no, the fucking Chico. Hey, next time we're gonna be like, no, there's no fucking wolf.
It should be mom and pop shops
But
only and shut down Walmart.
Right. Everything that was up was down. Everything was fucking backwards, man. It's crazy. It's crazy.
But if you go up to the country and sit at the lake, everything feels fine.
Chico, hey.
Oh, we got a fight with a cat. Breaking news.
Is it Mary? Oh, awesome.
Where were we? Chico's got to get his airtime.
What's wrong? Don't worry, you're not just coming front. It's no big
So
deal.
those were the topics he covered. Was the discrediting of science because it's racist. George Floyd,
Yeah.
the mess of the politics in the Democratic Party, which caused a real controversy that we'll talk about a bit more in the post-show. COVID, and then they finished off with the mice. And I thought it was very tidy and very comprehensive, despite the fact that they fact-checked some things and he was wrong. But he's not dying on hills. He's able to accept that.
Yeah.
I think I prefer his brother's passion more than his timidness. He's just a bit too humble.
I disagree. I'd rather his humbleness without the harmonica. I mean, listen, I like both of them. I'd like having both of them on. Sorry, go ahead, Simon. My apologies.
No, that's okay. I was just going to say, can we just go back for a second to his idea of this intense lockdown?
Sure.
Because most people who were scared at the beginning did an intense lockdown anyways. It was all of the fear monger that forced everybody out to the department stores to load up on things they didn't actually need. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. That caused a ton of this shit. If they had just, and I get it, nobody likes the idea of forcing of anything, but if it was just short and sweet and we really did like a massive lockdown, I think that would have worked better, obviously, than what we did. But really, like, what month are we in now, you know?
We're about to hit July.
I mean, other than the lying, a lockdown like that would be an easier pill to swallow now because I think their fear, I'm giving them the benefit of the doubt, their fear at first was panic. Like if you say there's a pandemic and that everyone has to be locked down for X amount of time, that's something we've never dealt with. So all of a sudden people are like, now at least it's like, well, we had a pandemic and it didn't kill as many people as we thought. And, you know, I mean.
What do you mean, though, that they had to ease us into being locked down?
No, I'm not looking at it from a conspiracy standpoint.
Really
what I'm saying is like they didn't want to create a mass hysteria where like absolutely everything is empty and even looting and rioting. Because think about it, if they tell everyone you have to be locked down tomorrow for 2 weeks,
nothing's open.
Nothing is open. Yeah, what happens, Simon? There's pandemonium on the streets.
Well, obviously nothing could be open. I get that. But like if they, I don't know, man. If they, obviously we know the whole toilet paper example, you know what I mean? But the media something went so awry where it should have been a time of so much information so everybody knew exactly what was really happening so that we made the right decisions. And they did the opposite. Like, really, we were really let down. If you can't see it,
I've said it all
If
along.
you didn't see it before, you have to see it now, man.
I've said it all
like,
along.
mainstream media. Sorry, go
The
ahead.
biggest problem is we are now experiencing the effects of this extended lockdown, which is still at phase 2 or whatever. Like, we need to be at phase 4 right now to sort of, or not. Maybe this is going to kill us all, but like, people are going out of business every day.
Totally. And I have so many opinions about business at this point. And because we can't even get the real information on like reoccurring numbers, we can't even make a proper decision. Like every opinion I hold could be swayed instantly if
you find 1,000 people died tomorrow from COVID.
You'd have to see some pretty intense spikes, but it would make a difference in my thinking, you know?
Yeah. Up is down, down is up.
But again, after being lied to for this whole time, obviously, I'm supposed to trust the fact that they're saying now there is a respike in numbers.
To what gain? I mean, who's it benefiting? Yeah. I don't trust anything.
And then you wonder, like, how tied in sports is into, like, look, are some of these sports leagues just not puppets, but are they just easily swayed by the powers that be to conform to whatever they want them to?
I just think there's a lot of contracts and a lot of money.
I was just going to say, it's too much money.
It's just out of control.
The amount of money that's tied up in sport, I think if you added all the leagues up and you added all the money up, it would shock you, Simon.
I've talked to people who are like dying for hockey. So I don't care if sports start up, really. I don't.
No, I was more thinking like you're hearing now a lot of these teams are reporting cases and being locked down, and there's this whole college sports thing now.
We've heard a lot of things.
Again.
And we find it's the contrary a month later.
Exactly.
Well, the NBA players are just ready to not go back.
Half of them.
Sure, but...
And the MLB players are ready to not go at all. Like, it's a mess. It's just a mess. Get off social media. Get out to the lake. Enjoy the last days. Do not refuse an invite to the cottage.
Wasn't it interesting, though, when he was talking about the virus and how when a virus jumps from one species to another, if it's able to do that, which is very hard, it usually loses all its virility, for a better word. Maybe that is the better word. I don't know. And this acted totally towards this idea that it was done in a lab and not anything to do with nature, because it's acting totally against nature. That's not the way that shit works, you know?
Mm-hmm. I mean, Matt said the one thing about, or you said, they checked our stuff is wrong. I don't remember that exactly, but I don't remember feeling this guy doesn't know what he's talking about. It still felt like he was measured and was talking sensible about it.
Yeah, I guess that's my problem, though, is as a dummy, you know, he could go on there and say a bunch of big words about this virus, and I would just be like, yeah, I mean, he sounds like he knows what the fuck he's talking about, and I don't.
Yeah, I guess ultimately you need a different opinion and a debate on it.
But what was
and
he
Joe's not the person to do that.
Sorry. He was saying that when you take a species and put it somewhere where it doesn't belong, the host species of that place have no defense for it. It's like the axis steer. It's like all of that, right? We are that thing to this virus. You know what I'm saying? It's like somebody came and took something and put it somewhere it doesn't belong.
And it's thriving.
That's why it's able to run over us like this.
But hold on, you've said it's not running over us.
Yeah.
If you do get the sickness, it's pretty devastating, I guess, to some people.
If you go on a ventilator.
Yeah, again.
But again, we don't know.
Okay,
None of us know.
Whatever. Everything I say is useless because it all comes... No, it's true because it all... Here I am thinking that I'm like stern on my thing and you say one thing, I'm like, yeah, okay. But I guess not. Fuck.
Sorry.
Whatever.
I'm not trying to shit on your fucking parade
No, I get what you're saying and I'm getting worked up. I'm sweating a lot.
It's so hot in here.
But my point is, like, these guys, man. Can't trust anything. So what
and who knows what's going to come up this week on Rogan?
Not someone black.
Oh, I'm sure someone of color will be on.
Well, we'll fucking see, won't we? We will fucking see.
I just really appreciated concise. They talked about, like I said, 5 topics in depth. And unfortunately, the political discussion really lit a fire. But Joe can't be canceled, unlike some people. Like, he doesn't have a show that's going to stop airing. He's in a very unique position.
I mean, yes and no. I'm sure there's something said. Listen, he has a licensing deal with a massive company, so you never know.
Okay, sorry. Just going back a second because we missed this with the telomeres and the mice because this is the most important part.
Okay.
If he is right, if that is true, what both of these guys, who I kind of respect him and his brother, but again, I could be easily duped. You know me. They both swear this to be true, and so does actually Sam Harris, so there you go.
I love how you pointed at me like he's the... Okay, whatever.
No, but you like some of what Sam Harris has to say. That's all I was saying. That means that the drug trials that are going through right now are all totally questionable.
Everything's questionable.
Mm-hmm. I think we got to that, didn't we?
No, but I don't think we got to the fact of how huge a deal that is that nobody is talking about.
No, we got to the huge deal is no one's talking about it because there's too much on the line.
Well, hold on. I think we need to stop, though, and realize that obviously some of these drug tests that they're doing on mice are working because
Have worked out.
some of these drugs are working
for
on
sure,
people
yeah. Yeah,
past
yeah,
a placebo effect. So
Yes.
there's a weird argument to be had there, right? You can't say across the board. Maybe it's just
And
the
this
best.
guy's sort of a scientist, so it's just not as accurate as it could be.
Yeah, and I think that's where we get lost, Simon, is like I looked at it like I was like, okay, this could definitely be a huge problem. But like Kamar's saying, I also looked at it and was like, this might just be the best we can do. Like, unless we have labs just plucking random rats from random spots. You know what I mean? Like, it might just be the best.
No, you are absolutely correct. I just wish I lived in a world where I didn't have to hear this information on a comedy podcast. Is that fair?
That's totally fair.
Okay, then that's what I'm sticking with.
Isn't it
100.
crazy?
They said it, man, and it's fucking bullshit. Sorry.
Isn't it crazy? The only laugh in this podcast when Joe was telling about the guys who died in the bat cave.
Yeah.
Yeah, and he laughed so hard at it and then was like, oh, they died?
I felt like that earlier with your father and the Lyme disease.
Oh wow, no, that was a good bit. We should have saved it from the green room.
He even said, he was like, this podcast wasn't as funny as I hoped it would be. I had a solid 10 minutes I was planning on sprinkling in there.
Yeah, no, it was real.
I don't think he
downer.
was going to. Joe fought back a lot on that George Floyd thing, and rightfully so. Like, it needed to have that counter argument. I don't know if he thought he was going to get quite so much pushback.
No, I think he just had to stress how important due process is, and we all have to think due process is no matter how emotional we are. And that's back to Jocko. Jocko was talking about decisions made out of emotion usually are bad decisions.
Yeah, and that's not just in tense situations. I think that applies to everything.
I think so.
It's in
Fine, but I think a year.
business. It's in personal life.
I think if you ask the three of us a year from now, hey, remember George Floyd? Do you still think that cop should go to jail for more than 20 years? I think we'd all say, oh, for sure.
Oh yeah.
We'll
I don't
have
think
to
it
see how that
changed. I don't
develops.
think my cooler head months from now is going to prevail and be like, you know what? He's a cop. It's a tough job. Someone like, fuck that.
No, I don't think that's what Kamar was saying.
I'm not saying that's what Kamar was saying.
I think it's more that if for some reason this guy were to be like lynched in the street, 2 months from now, you would say, I think we should have given him the due process and watched him go to prison
But at the
for
time,
life.
we said, "Fuck that guy." He
You know
deserved
what I
he
mean?
got.
But at the time, you said, "Fuck that guy." That's the emotion, you know.
I mean, I get it, yes, and I'm all for due process. But you know,
I think that's all he's trying to say.
There's
but-
also a lot of things that, like, I don't know. There's some things that just seem really cut and dry.
Totally, but
There's times where you hear about someone that like raped a 4-year-old girl, and you're like, well, that guy just deserves to rot in jail forever. And you know what I mean? There's no like, and then if you have a video of it, then you're just like, oh, well, let's just seal this deal. I mean, I think the problem with this one is it's just too big. There's too much at stake.
yeah, and not to demean this in any way, but if we find out later on that there is really a huge pedophile ring going on and children had being harmed all this time, it'll be the same thing. You know what I mean? You won't be able to look back on it and feel good about turning your cheek for all those years.
I don't feel I've turned my cheek these years.
Yeah,
It's just that it's never being talked about in the media at
And
all.
I
you know what
I
mean?
stress that that's a problem.
You're not on the
every
mountaintop
episode.
screaming about it.
I'm on my Instagram
Oh, yeah,
screaming
right.
about it.
Sorry.
today's weather, but don't forget about the kids and the slave trade.
No, Epstein didn't kill himself. He
Yes,
he
I
does
know.
his part. I
I
think.
say so much by saying so little.
We have to be done. It's too hot.
Yeah,
There's
yeah,
no
we're
way
done,
there's a
we're
post
done,
show
we're done,
tonight.
we're done,
It's just
we're
not happening.
They want it.
Well, they're not getting one. I'm not sticking around for a poster. You guys are fucked. You guys can edit that one.
Well, you tie our hands there.
It's already 10 o'clock. By the way, we forgot to mention that. We also normally record this at like noon on a Sunday.
Yeah, I realize it's late.
And we recorded this one.
Well, let's rate this and see where we get to.
Sure. Well, I know you don't want to talk about Kyle Dunnigan because you hated it and you barely listened to it.
It's not that I didn't like it. I just find him unremarkable.
Okay. Well, Simon, you want to rate Weinstein?
Yeah, I'll give it a 4.
I give this a 4.5.
I'll give it a 5.
A 5? Wow.
Just to Simon's dismay.
It's not to my dismay at all. I think that's solid.
Riveting, interesting, but it caused a lot of controversy for Joe.
This is why you listen to Joe. That's why I give it a 5. It's for these episodes.
No, but you listen to this episode, you don't realize 2 days later, Twitter's like, cancel Joe Rogan.
I don't care about that. I'm saying for me personally, I found this episode very thought-provoking. Whether I agreed with everything or a little bit, at least it made me sit back and question my own thoughts, my own beliefs, how I look at situations. Like, that's what you want.
Absolutely, but I'm saying you listen to this and thought it was innocuous. Like, anyone who heard this would think this was a civil conversation with points made, not a brutal attack and like, this is enough. Joe's got to be stopped because of this kind of conversation.
Well, whatever. Let them go crazy. Who gives a fuck?
I guess it's what he was talking about with canceling science, though. Part and parcel.
All right, well, we rated it, so let's move on to
$14.95, Kyle Dunnigan.
The king of
the
Instagram.
master of the face swap, Kyle Dunnigan.
So,
Hi, baby.
Dunnigan smoked weed at the start of this.
Against his better judgment.
Jamie pressed the button, and they were already like half a blunt in, as Joe would say.
Funny.
Yeah, they were very high.
Full disclosure, I didn't listen to this whole episode, so I'm going to be a weak link.
That's fine. Full disclosure, I have so much sweat on my balls that I don't intend on talking about.
TMI.
They were talking about Hearst at the beginning of the podcast, and then that brought up Patty Hearst.
Yeah.
And she did rob that bank. And I think she claimed that she had Stockholm Syndrome,
I believe that is
where
correct.
you
Yeah.
fall in love with your kidnappers or
Captor.
whatever, and that's why she became part of the gang. But I don't know if that was a real thing or it was just her excuse to try and get out of trouble because she had a rich pappy.
Probably the latter.
But anyways, yeah, it was the granddaughter.
Like the latter.
Daughter. I'm so sorry. I have to go to the bathroom. So
All right, Kamar and I can do this.
Let's get into it. Did you see Ad Astra?
Terrible movie.
You've seen it, though?
Yeah.
Simon, have you seen it? Unbelievable. Would you, listeners, did you not think that Simon would be the one guy who did see it?
Great point. Great point. That never even dawned on me
I
until
can't
you
believe-
just brought it up.
I
Yeah.
can't believe
How
it's
has Simon not seen it?
You and me
Yeah.
are the ones who saw it. And yeah, I agree. I don't know if it's a terrible movie. I like the depiction. The only reason I say that is because in this podcast they are talking about Neptune and Jupiter
Yeah.
may protect us from, and he has to get to Neptune,
Yeah.
Venus, and in the movie, the moon is like no man's land. Like there's other factions.
Yeah, like yeah.
So the depiction, I think,
It's like
that
pirates there and shit.
it just there's no way that it can be regulated.
The moon, you mean?
The space. We can't have order up there. There will be chaos in space.
Well, there already is, isn't there? It's fucking Simon thinks there's 36
Well,
other.
who knows what's up there? My point being is that's what I wanted to play for the movie game.
Ad Astra?
Ad Astra.
Oh my fucking god!
And it's going to be expensive because there were some special effects. The moon fighting things was cool, but isn't it so crazy to be his dad and just be like, nah, I'm not going back. I'd rather go that way.
Yeah,
With like a couple of hours of air into the
Yeah.
coldest.
I got this.
Like, how antisocial can you be? That was the only.
He then tried to kill his son. He wanted to be out there so bad.
Tried to kill his son. He wanted to be out there so bad.
This is good. Simon hasn't even seen this, so he's gonna be fucking
And
terrible.
I can't believe he hasn't seen it.
Totally useless.
because everybody told me it was so fucking terrible that before I even watched it, I was like, "There's no way I'm watching."
Oh,
this
but
piece of
you've
crap.
got to see how things in space are depicted. How it would be to get to Mars. How it'd be to get to space.
Simon,
It's the movie game for new listeners.
that
The
movie.
game.
This movie
This is Ad
fucking
Astra?
sucks.
Very
yeah.
recent.
very recent.
Changing it up. This is where Matt and Simon go head to head to figure out the year a movie was released, the budget, and the box
This is
office.
crazy. The
gross.
last movie we did came out in 2018, and now we're doing Ad Astra.
I really got to tell you, like, my brain is like fucking a hot tub, and I don't know if I can even make reasonable guesses at this point.
Watch him hit it spot fucking on.
Yeah, he probably will too. This dirty prick.
But I think you should watch it, Simon, even though it's bad.
Okay.
Because the way they depict what space will be like in the future. And if you had to be because the whole key is this guy's nerves of steel, right?
Yeah.
How you can get through situations.
Yeah.
How soon do you die? All the things he has to do.
Oh, dude.
Like the things he has to think about, the airlocks or whatever, the monkeys in space. Plot spoiler.
Monkeys in space.
Yeah.
Yeah, the monkey part was fucked up.
All right.
Hopefully that's enough for Simon.
Did we already guess the year?
No, I've written mine down. So
Starring Brad Pitt, Tommy Lee Jones, Ruth Negga, be careful with that name, Liv Tyler, and Donald Sutherland.
Okay. I said 2019.
I also said 2019.
Boom! We got something going here. Wasn't that hard? Wasn't that hard? But
He's lobbing balls at us right now.
Low hanging
And
fruit.
I have no idea what this movie. How can I even do this?
You never have any idea, so it's business as usual.
He's got a good point. He's got a good
I
point.
at least know if it's like full of special effects or if they used real people.
How about this? I
is
don't
it
know if you do
real
this.
outer space?
There are special effects, but there's a lot of scenes that are just in like a room.
Okay. Who plays his father?
Tommy Lee Jones.
Tommy Lee Jones.
Who else is in the movie, Kumar?
Ruth Negga.
Who the hell is Ruth Negga? She's an Israeli.
I don't know,
take
but
it?
you're making me say it, man. That's Negga.
No way.
Yes.
Jesus.
N-A. Say it again, Kumar.
Negga.
Can you say it again for me?
Ethiopian Irish actress. Ruth Negga.
Ethiopian Irish?
Directed by James Gray.
Jesus fucking Christ.
She's beautiful.
Directed by James Gray, who's a girl.
No.
It's James They.
I don't think you have a right to ask.
Yeah, that's why I said they.
You said they're beautiful. I just wanted, I guess.
No, Ruth
Negga
is beautiful.
Okay, so I'm going to say...
And so with the budget, we want them to come in within $5 million, and with the gross, we want them to come within $50 million. This is the first time ever they both got easy on the dates. Now it was very easy. Right on the date, sorry. Simon's having a stroke. Heat stroke.
Oh, I'm so far off. I've seen this movie too, and it came out last year, and there's no fucking... Why did you pick this one again?
Because they talked about Venus.
Oh my God.
Defending us.
Now you're just stretching.
Neptune.
Now you're just stretching everything
I am
out.
grasping at straws because that's the only thing I recalled from this
fuck.
podcast.
Really, no one brought up one brought up Police Academy 3 or some shit.
We could have done it with the Sopranos episode.
I have no idea. I said 100 million budget. Does that make any sense?
Well, okay. What did you say for
300 million, only because it hasn't been out for a long time. I don't know.
Okay.
Because it hasn't been out for a long time. It's made tons of money.
Is that a lot of money?
Well, I said 78.5 million for the budget and 220.4 for the box office.
And the actual budget is 100 million.
No fucking way.
Well, it says
I don't
between
know money.
80 and 100.
Wow, that's not 100.
But
Well,
I had
that's-
78,
I
so
know.
that's
So
a tough
that's
one.
just as close
That's a
to
push.
80
It's a
than it is
push.
to
Yeah,
100.
okay. Well, that sucks.
Box office 132 million.
What did you say?
220, not even close.
And I said
well, you're super
300.
far off.
But the point is, this movie was a
This movie-
total bomb.
Yeah, you know why? Because this movie fucking sucked.
It blew.
Do not go see this movie. Simon, don't
Don't
waste your
watch
The
it.
time.
moon
Thanks,
space
man.
fighting is kind of cool, though. And that you agreed before. You just changed. Anyways, that's the movie game brought to you by Cineplex Odeon.
No, it's not.
That's my dream.
No, it's not. They're a company going out of business.
Brought to you by Orville Redenbacher.
No, it's
what
brought to
popcorn
you-
are you eating?
It's brought to you by Gatsby.
brought to you by Gatsby.
TryGatsby.com/Joe.
And the Patreon.
Or on it.
And subscribe to YouTube.
So in Australia, they have bounties on cats. Like in Florida, they have bounties on
The pythons?
the alligators. I was gonna
Like
say
if you're a person, you can go out, kill cats, and come back for money.
something like
So
that.
we need bounties on coyotes here.
Well, I don't think we want. I don't know if the answer yet with the coyotes is just eradicate them all. You know?
No, it's not eradicate, but it's like the cormorant. You come in and you just do a real fine job of tidying up.
Listen, we can't even fucking touch the cormorants.
Yes, you can. There's a hunting season.
Oh, is there?
Yeah, I told you. They opened a hunting season. It's from like November to April.
I mean, listen, I agree, Kamar. They got to nip this coyote problem in the bud around here. But maybe that just means catching them and relocating. Well, we know that doesn't work.
No, they know where they're going.
But killing the coyotes doesn't work either. They'll just reproduce more coyotes that want to kill you.
So how about this? What struck you guys as so spectacular about Kyle Dunnigan?
It wasn't anything about him. This episode just after the last one, this one was all pop culture. It was all fun.
Yeah, okay, I feel that.
and they were fucking higher than giraffe tits right off the bat.
Because he kept saying he didn't know what he was talking about.
Well, yeah, he was so... I'm telling you, I watched a bit of this one. They were high as fuck.
They got in a conversation about lawns. You know when they get in a conversation about lawns, they're like, they've gone off fucking subject.
That
you
being
know?
said, you notice a shitty lawn and you notice a great lawn.
Yeah, that's very true. Listen, there was this guy on my street who used to, when I was a kid, I swear to you, he'd be out there, he'd mow his lawn like down to like fucking green, golf green, you know? He was so proud of it. And then he'd be out there, and between the sidewalk and his lawn, he would use a pair of scissors, house scissors, and just snip, snip. And I'd see him out there all the time, just lying on his lawn, snip, 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 snip.
He needs help.
Yeah, what a terrible fucking hobby.
And I said the exact same thing. And then I thought to myself as I was writing down, what the fuck? When you're old, you've lost all control over most things. And I think you just want to be able to control anything. And the grass, if you can get it good, it's something you can control, you know? And maybe that's what this fucking crazy guy was doing, was just out there
It's house
taking
pride.
control of the one thing he still could.
It's home pride, though. Why you paint your house, why you keep it in. You just want a nice home to come to. And lawn's part of it.
This guy wouldn't let dogs on his lawn. He was a real lawn
And you'll
Nazi.
see people who-
I can say that.
You'll see people who just have rocks, garden, and driveway if they don't want lawn
That's us. That's me. That's my house.
and patio.
There's this old dude that used to walk by the bar I worked at in Vancouver. I'll never forget it. Oh, that wheeze is good. It didn't matter if there was a patio full of people. He would walk by with his bag full of bird food and dust everything and everyone. That was just his game. I remember being out there even one day, and I yelled at him. I was like, if you throw fucking food at my feet, we have a problem. And me and two cooks are sitting there, and he throws fucking a ton of food at our feet. And just like gave me the Fanuc look and just kept walking. I was like, this fucking old man. But what are you going to do? He's an old man. And I weigh 100 pounds soaking wet, so there's that too. What are you looking for, Kamar?
I'm getting ready to read the Patreon. Because there's no post joke.
Oh, yeah, there is no post, Joe. Let's do Kyle Dunnigan, and then you can read the Patreon.
I did all I knew. They talked about the bear thing.
So, did you know that there is an asteroid coming by Earth?
Yeah, I think this happens more often than we'd like to admit.
This one is coming really close, though. Like, you can actually stand in Africa.
Uh-huh.
If you live in Africa or somewhere down that part of the world,
sure.
you will be able to see with your naked eye the asteroid. That's pretty fucking cool, man. I mean, it's incredibly scary.
I was going to
but
say, not
really
not
cool. I mean, it's not often, I think, that you'd be able to say that.
Yeah, I wouldn't want to watch Almost Death
But
fly by
isn't
us.
it made out of frozen hydrogen or something? It's a manuglabla.
I don't know. I'm not a scientist.
Say that again, Kamar.
A manuglabla.
I hope I'm right about that Africa thing.
A manugla?
A manuglabla.
What the fuck is a manuglabla?
Say it again one time.
A manuglabla.
What is he trying to
It's
say?
not a comet. A comet is like...
A
nebula?
meteor?
A nebula?
Are you trying to say meteor?
no, it's a manuglabla.
No, it's definitely not that. But can you show me what word you're trying to say?
The fuck out of here. It's a manugla. Fucking dickhead.
Long. Frozen hydrogen comet.
Yeah, you know what's a really interesting thing that I thought about in this episode? So the Mayans, super sophisticated in their building. Tons of human sacrifice.
That's what we've been missing.
There's no correlation between like...
That's what it's called. Umamuna.
Sorry, one more time.
Unamuna. Unamana.
Where am I looking? Oh, and wow.
Exactly. A manuglabla.
Could I please see?
That's the French.
Okay, I'm gonna go with umwamwa. Umwamwa.
It's a giant iceberg flying through space.
Good luck with that one, Simon.
I just want to even know what we're dealing with. Okay, so where's it?
Unamana. I think that's what it is.
Umwamwa.
But I prefer manuglabla.
How do you keep banging out that word?
Googleplex.
It's umwamwa.
Umwamwa.
It's a new
like
Umwamwa.
Chihuahua.
It's umwamwa.
Umwamwa.
There's nothing hard about that. There certainly is not. What did you call
Or maybe
it?
it's it
Manuglabla.
could be omwamwa.
Umwamwa.
Oh,
Anywhere in that neighborhood, Matt,
Yeah.
I'm good.
okay.
Say it again, Kumar.
Umana.
No.
Manugla.
That was nowhere close.
There's some sort of skill to saying a made-up word over and over.
That's what
again.
I just said. I can't believe you keep banging it out. I can't remember.
Manugla.
Dude, can you
No, he
please?
got it wrong that time.
It's fine. Do me a
Too bad,
favor,
guys.
Kumar. Tonight, decide how that's spelt and just text it to me.
Manugla. Yeah, I will.
Thank you.
And I'll do it phonetically for you.
Oh, I'd like both. You have to do both, obviously.
With the definition.
Yeah.
M-A-G-
Could you use it in a sentence, please?
M-A-G.
What is the origin of this? Well, Greek for sure. Manugla.
A-N-U-G.
A manugla.
Manugla.
1G. 1L.
Hey,
1A.
Daryl, could you come over and help me with my
2
new
A's,
Google?
1B.
Well, no, he'd have to
Blah.
use it in a sentence. I was sitting on my back porch watching the sky, and all of a sudden, with my naked eye, I saw a manugla.
I was
fly
going to
by.
Mars, but then a manugla destroyed a ship and we died.
There you go. Good stuff. No, what I was saying was the Mayans,
Yeah.
very brilliant things they built.
Sacrificing
Were
people, yeah.
sacrificing people to the gods. And we're just like, oh, yeah, that makes sense. They were...
How do you kill? See, this is why I don't believe this. Do you know how much time it would take to kill 85,000 people?
With primitive techniques as well. No gas chambers, no nothing like that.
Like, it even takes a lot of people to kill that many people. Like, it just seems like a large undertaking. I believe the number in my mind, since we all have opinions that are truth. This one seems off.
Well, I liked it when they said they were throwing them in pits of water.
That made it more
Because
manageable.
If you slaughter just a bunch of people on a pyramid, we found 6 dead mice.
But
How
Kamar,
bad that smelled.
do you also not think that if you're just filling this cave full of people, 80,000 too, like eventually it's just going to pile up, right?
When
No?
your job is to eradicate people, you come up with very creative ways to do so.
Listen, I assume year 4 of that job, you're incredible. That's not what I'm saying.
No matter what job you do, be it stacking wood, stacking
Yeah, be the
groceries,
best.
you find
Be
the
the
most
best,
effective way to do said job.
No, Bill Gates said the best thing ever. He said, I don't understand why people don't hire lazy people. You always hire lazy people. He said a lazy person will find you the best and fastest way to do every job.
There you go. The point I was trying to make was
Please go on.
we were just like, oh, because the gods told them to, they sacrificed all these people, but they were brilliant enough to build things that we don't understand. There seems to be a whole piece missing to that story.
No,
you
but
know?
they don't know what caused weather, lightning, all that stuff. So they're smart, but they're not.
Mm-hmm.
And obviously they're sacrificing for bountiful crops, whatnot. Good fortune.
What did they
Which
say?
didn't work out because the Spaniards came and killed them all. So
What did they say in this episode? Religion has just become way less child killing-y.
Kamar, you missed the best at the end when they're talking about Bill Maher.
well, I saw the clip where he was, but he was surprised Bill Maher's reaction, but I'm not. Bill Maher's a bit of a bitch.
Yeah, I still just thought Kyle's reaction was funny. Whatever, fine.
They talked about Grizzly Man again, and that should just be enough for you now to be like, okay, Simon told me, Joe told me, in a million episodes, they won't stop talking about it.
Where do we have to watch it?
Grizzly Man.
It's on
It's
Prime.
on Prime for free.
Simon, it's on my list on Prime. It's sitting there. I am
After
going
Sopranos,
to
I'll
watch it.
watch it.
Oh my god.
After The Sopranos, there you go.
I just want to see I just want to hear the sheriff be like, I honestly thought he was mentally retarded.
Joe was so funny when he was like, he was disgusted by Weinstein's dick. It's like, it was so gross, I couldn't even look at it. Do you want to see it? I got it right here on my phone. I had to save it. And I was like, that's so fucking weird.
Yeah, some things you don't have to see. That's one of them.
And then he asked again why Bill Gates. And I was yelling into the thing.
The Georgia Stones.
TMP, man. TMP.
Too much philanthropy. In case you remember, too much Namibula.
Too much.
Manuga
Namibula.
Blada. Oh, it's gone.
No, now it's, yeah.
Manugla.
There it is.
Manugla.
He's got it back.
Yeah, I mean, I was listening to this, trying to listen to it on 2 times, and I just felt Kyle, amazing Instagram posts, the guy, unremarkable, and not a bad guy at all.
So he says he grew up with his mom
Yeah.
and his sister,
Yeah.
and they both wanted a girl. The mom wanted a daughter, and the sister wanted a sister.
Yeah.
And she used to dress him up
Yeah.
like a girl all the time, and the mom wouldn't do shit because she was happy about it.
Yeah.
And Joe said, "Oh my God, that sounds like the start of a serial killer story." It's so true. That is like the beginning of Psycho, man.
Or the beginning of someone who just does crazy ass face swaps. It can go either way. It shows
Well,
there's
yeah.
a thin line between.
We know how he got there.
Yeah.
Well, they talked about her for a while, but it was a him when the accident happened. And again, that's like one of those things just
talking about the Jenner?
nobody talks about. Yeah.
How do you get Woman of the Year, though?
This is what I'm saying. Like, it would be one thing to just bury it under the rug, another thing to still prop yourself up, you know?
Like, imagine being a woman, born a woman. I know this is controversial. You work your whole life to be incredible. Maybe you're a doctor. Maybe you've almost cured cancer. Maybe you saved a bunch of kids. And then Bruce Jenner comes along, already has a gold medal in the Olympics, and gets Woman of the Year. I'd be fucking livid.
Well, you know what's super interesting about that? I was listening to a thing on CBC about how women are XX, men are XY,
The chromosomes.
and the X chromosome is the chromosome that heals. So women have, and they work, the XX works separately. So you have two X chromosomes that go to fix stuff, whereas men only have one. And that's got to be a separator. You cannot deny.
Oh, you're talking about the difference between men and women.
Exactly.
I got you.
So they're
And the point was women are stronger than men in
Healing.
be able to heal.
Good save, Kumar.
At home base.
Let me help you out. Let me help you out, Kumar. They want to stop people calling Karens because it's just like saying bitch, and that's not okay. So it's not okay to say Karen anymore.
But you called yourself Karen, and I thought
I
it was
know, of
endearing.
course, it's okay to call yourself Karen. You can call anybody you want fucking Karen. It's a name.
Face the consequences.
And fuck those bitches.
But did
Fuck those Karens, you mean?
they were talking about like where Karen started,
Yeah.
and then they just stopped talking about it. But then I got interested as to where Karen started, so they attribute it to Dane Cook, actually, to a joke he tells where he says, "There's a Karen in every group, and she's
I
a
remember.
real douche."
Yeah.
So that's where the Karen thing apparently.
Karen, I feel like, is the female equivalent to Kyle.
You have anything against Kyle's?
No, but in comedy, is always like Kyle is the
I thought it was
asshole.
Chad.
No, Chad's a pretty boy Floyd.
I thought that was Floyd.
Kyle is disruptive in class, breaks windows in your friend's house.
Oh, Kyle.
Exactly.
Kyle gives you your first little bit of hash he stole from his mom.
Yep.
Yeah.
And probably for most kids, Kyle does exist, but they blame everything they do wrong on a fictitious Kyle. Just like gingers get the bad end of the brunt. But all these things are going to go away in 2020. No more pejoratives.
Oh my God.
That's because there's going to
You
be
know
no more
what?
people.
Enough. Did you guys know that baby carrots are not baby carrots?
Did they confirm that?
Well, he said it. I think it's true.
That's where I stopped listening.
If they said it, I believe it.
They just whittle them down.
Yeah.
I think that's true.
I'm very disappointed if that's the truth. I thought I was buying baby carrots.
But you're not letting carrots grow to full term. Like, what's going on? That's a monster.
I just assume no.
You're a monster.
Come on, man. They miniaturize tons of fruits and vegetables, don't they?
Listen to this monster backing up his claims.
Oh my God, I just realized now I could be like one of those people who
Never realized.
goes
Most
against
baby
vegetables.
carrots sold in the U.S. supermarkets are really what the industry calls baby cuts. These babies are made from longer carrots that have been peeled and cut into smaller size.
Okay, can I pay more money to get baby carrots?
I'm sure you can. You just got to go there early in the morning before they grow.
I need to find some black market baby carrot place that's growing these little carrots.
I feel like you're gonna
in the
open-
dark, so
That
they're
soft,
extra tender.
nubile carrot
that's the
skin.
only kind of carrot I want. Man.
Simon opens a business called Actually Baby Carrots.
That's such a weird business, man.
Are we done here?
Oh my God! Wow, really? Okay.
How much more food do you have for Kyle? I'm just so hot. I'm uncomfortable. I have a
Well,
headache.
now that I know that we're not doing a post, Joe, I just don't even know what to do.
Well, we can spend.
It's okay.
We can do a 10-minute post show. That's the most I'm doing.
Okay, fine.
I gotta
Okay,
edit
so
tons
end
of
this.
shit.
Fine. So end this. Rate it. I rate this a 4. I thought they did a great job. He was hilarious.
Kamar.
I didn't listen to it. I rated it a 3. I have no right to say anything.
So there were basically 2 podcasts that you couldn't participate in out of 4.
Yeah.
2?
No. I said
just because I didn't see The Sopranos doesn't mean shit. I listened to this one, and I thought it was great. I just wanted more Michael.
That was 2 ago.
fine, whatever. I give this one a 4. It was a great episode.
Very good.
I guess that's it then. I'm sorry for the quality of this one.
It won't be like this again. We're going to get the fucking heat sorted out. Just consider this.
I don't know why we left the basement. Oh, I kind of do. Fuck, it's hot.
Sorry, guys.
That being said, if you want to write us an email telling us how shit this episode was, you can do so at jreepodcast@gmail.com. We have a Twitter and an Instagram. It's jreepodcast for both of them. You can follow Kamar on Instagram.
At Kamar Bar, Instagram and Twitter.
You can follow Simon on Instagram.
Bigfoot Sighting Society.
Don't bother following me anywhere because I don't fucking care. There's a Reddit. Kamar is usually on there along with the rest of the true fans. It's reddit.com/JREE podcast. What else? Oh, the Patreon.
YouTube.
Oh, yeah. If
Subscribe.
you're listening to this and you're not watching, we are on YouTube. It's youtube.com/JREE podcast.
If you
Please.
want to put a face to a name. Sorry, Matt.
Yeah, no. Just please, even if you're not going to watch us, subscribe so we can get to that 1,000 sub mark and
Really appreciate it, guys. Tell your friends. Tell everyone.
start making $1 an episode. And the Patreon. You can go to patreon.com/JREE podcast to support us. You can do so for as little as $1 a month. And you'll get some extra content for that. You get the post show on Tuesday with the normal episode, as well as a couple episodes of This Won't Age Well a month. It's a series we put out every Monday where we go back, we listen to old episodes of Joe Rogan, and we do what we do on the normal show. Did I miss anything?
No, you're amazing. Thank you, Matt, for everything you do.
I didn't need that. I guess that's it. Thanks so much for listening. Thanks for putting up with us. Sorry about this episode. I guess we'll see you in the post show. Have a great weekend.
Stay safe out there.
Keep your eyes open.
Oh my God, someone fucking say it.